Alex. Uh, Thank you for joining us. For those joining right now and for later on, I'll probably say it again. Yeah, so right now we're going to get started with the weekly poll and what we've been reading so far this week. Alex, what have you been reading?
I have been consuming any and all things Bat Family, uh,
Mm,
post Infinite Frontier startup. I've been reading the new Robin series. Had another issue come out this past week,
yep, issue 3, right?
which is fantastic.
Yeah, they brought back Connor
They
Hawk.
brought back Connor Hawk. They have Ra's al Ghul in there at
Mm-hmm.
the end, which is like spoilers. Ra's al Ghul is back, and I think he hasn't been around for a couple years. Like in a
The last
story.
time
I
I
can't think of
saw
a
him
time
was in
before this.
the last time I saw him was Dark Trinity,
Yeah,
which was like him, Cersei, Wonder Woman villain, and there was a Superman villain, Lex Luthor.
yeah. Like, but past that, I don't remember seeing him. So it's been like what,
Been a
two,
minute, yeah,
2 years, 3 years?
yeah, because
Yeah,
he's been announced dead, and that's
multiple.
why Robin is on the island.
Yeah. Um. So there's that. I've also been reading Nightwing. Nightwing has become my comic that I go to my local comic shop to get. I refuse to read it digitally now,
Hmm.
just so it gets me like to the store. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
yeah,
Like
it's the comic to like get you out of the house and like
yeah,
looking at new shit.
exactly. Like it gets me in the store. So I've been like going to the shop lately, and I've been picking stuff up. I also, by the way, we were supposed to do this in person, but I had a lot of stuff going on. I picked you up a
Nice,
issue
Infinite
one
Frontier #1.
because I was like, there's something special about an issue one. You
Yeah,
know?
especially with this new kind of
Yeah,
big event.
exactly. I haven't gotten to reading all these yet, but I also got Harley Quinn,
Mm.
Joker, and Checkmate, which is following the events of Event Leviathan,
Oh, yep,
which
yep.
I
I read
haven't
issue
read.
#1.
I had to
You haven't
go.
read Event Leviathan?
Yeah, I didn't know because I haven't I wasn't much into Superman like before fairly recently. Like
Hmm.
so, and it was Event Leviathan was mostly a Superman thing.
Yeah,
It was a big like event, but it was like a
yeah.
Bendis.
It was centered around Superman.
Yeah. So I hadn't read it yet, but I went and I picked up the trade. Uh,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So I'm like reading a bunch of stuff. I'm also Batman Urban Legends is one of the coolest stories centered around Jason Todd, Red Hood, in like forever. Like it is a
I don't think I've read. I don't think I've started that one yet.
you should read it. I've been picking them up. It has like 3 stories per issue. Like it's jam packed.
Oh, I think I read the Jason Todd one.
Yeah.
Um, I can't remember what it's about though.
The main story is about Jason Todd, and this one's like focusing on him taking down like this drug ring. Uh,
Hmm.
and in doing so, like he finds this kid whose whose mother like is OD'd,
Oh,
and
so it's like him.
it's like him. It's like him. It's like he's like saving himself kind of deal. But
Now, do you,
he ends up spoilers for the first issue. He ends up killing this kid's father, who is like
um,
part of this drug ring, and like he's been like drugging up the kid's mom and the kid.
mhm.
And it's like this kind of interesting thing because this kid sees Jason Todd like Red Hood as like this hero, like this big hero,
Oh, and then this hero,
because he saved him.
newsflash, killed your dad.
Yeah, and like Batman comes to fight Jason Todd after he finds out that he killed someone, and the kid like tries to stop Batman.
Oof.
So it's like,
I, okay, I think I've read issue 1, but
yeah,
I didn't get past that.
but like if you haven't picked up like that, go read it. It's if you're interested at all in like Red Hood and Jason Todd and the Batman dichotomy, it's stellar. Um, but yeah, that's what
Hmm.
I've been reading a lot of Bat Family stuff. I'm trying to like get caught up like completely like past the Joker War. I'm into like the
Hmm.
Ghost Maker stuff.
Yeah,
which is really
the,
cool.
the Joker solo run with Jim Gordon as like the lead narrator for the comic.
Yeah,
It's a great run.
I'm gonna start it after this because I spent the entire day packing stuff up, so like
Mm.
I'm very excited.
I've just been rereading. I mean, I read all the new issues that came out on Wednesday. So like, yeah, like just a broad summary of what I've been
Yeah,
reading. Is I just read all the new issues because I'm kind of up to date on everything?
just
Question mark.
everything.
I think so because I stay pretty up to date with both the Marvel, DC, and Image comics.
Yeah,
Um, and like once a month, the Dark Horse comic would come out that I'm interested in.
yeah, that's kind of their
Um,
deal.
um, uh, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has my attention at the moment.
Yeah,
With the Last Ronin.
I've seen
Have, have-
that on shelves, and I'm like, it looks cool, but I'm not a big Turtles guy.
See, I wasn't a big Turtles guy either until I picked up the issue because I grew up with the cartoon
Yeah, we all
and
did.
then like the the shitty suit movies.
Yeah.
And I could still watch those and be okay with it.
You
So
mean
I picked
the
it.
perfect movies that had zero issues with
I
plot and
mean,
design?
up until Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, then the
Yeah,
rest of them got confusing.
yeah, the first two.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so I would suggest picking it up because it's like a great reboot. The current TMNT run in comics. And then Last Ronin is like just like really dark and gritty with like spoiler alert, like all the turtles are dead. And like there's only one left out of the four, and I'm not gonna spoil who it is because even I'm shocked on who it is.
It's Mikey, isn't it? Is it actually?
It is.
that
It is okay. Another spoiler alert. It is Mikey who was the last one,
that's
but
the most
he
shocking one, like that it could have
yeah, but like
been.
he's also gone a bit insane where like he's talking to them as if they're still there, and he's not jokey. He's like completely shell shocked with PTSD and everything, and he's just out to kill the people who killed his family.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I would recommend it. Issue 3 dropped 2 weeks ago, and I think the fourth and last issue is going to be dropping out sometime in mid-July.
Mm.
And then I've also been rereading Hellboy.
Yeah, you've been rereading Hellboy.
Hell yeah,
What
Hellboy is a
what
fucking
time is
great
this?
comic.
How many times have you reread Hellboy?
Easily 10.
That sounds about right.
But it's a great comic, and it's Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, and the BPRD universe.
Mm.
He does a really great job at fleshing out all these characters and their subplots. Because like, there'll be some things from like issue 2 or 3 that were like a shadowy hand, whatever, that they'll bring back in like issue 60 or 70. It's like, yeah, no, actually, that was a huge part for this later thing.
Hell yeah.
And it's just great, consistent writing all around the board. The only issue is like reading order because like it's not labeled
Oh.
which ones like you could read Hellboy volume 1 to 12 or however many
Mm-hmm.
volumes there are, but then like that you have like BPRD,
Mm.
which is like the government force they work for. Then they have Abe Sapien. Then they have a few other like individual runs that all tie in together. And so you have to kind of read the volume ones of each one at the same time and progress that way instead of like reading one all the way through and then jumping to the next one
Yeah, it gets
because
a
you'll just
little
end up being confused.
overcomplicated.
It doesn't get overcomplicated. It's just that like in volume I'm probably fucking it up, but like in volume 8, Hellboy will be one place, and then in volume 9, it's like, wow, remember that big thing in BPRD? Now we're here. It's like, wait, hold on. Okay, I have to go back and read BPRD.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
chill.
Yeah, and like it's just I just really like Hellboy as a character.
Yeah, I know you did. You're really like you're a Hellboy head.
Hell yeah. Yeah, it's a good, uncomplicated character.
So, if you were to recommend one comic that you read this week, what would it be?
Hellboy, easily.
Hellboy.
Hellboy.
Hellboy. I think I would. I would say if you haven't like looked at any of the new Nightwing stuff, the newest run of Nightwing by Tom Taylor is amazing. If you could
Yeah,
find it,
Tom Taylor's been doing a really good job so far.
I mean, he kills it on every. I was talking with the guy in the shop about this because I was like, "Hey, do you have any like issue? Do you have issue 81?"
Hmm.
Like, because I'm like 2 issues behind at this point because like they get sold out so quickly because everyone's like going to get them,
Hmm.
and like publishers don't know that it's really popular yet, so they're not printing as much as they
So
should.
it's just the first run
Yeah,
of Prince, and then like yeah, whatever.
they finally got the second run coming. I'm gonna get it at the end of July.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he's gonna like I my local comic shop. I just signed up for their poll list.
Okay, so they'll just
So
hold it for you.
yeah, which is great. If you don't know what a poll list is, it's essentially like you have a list of comics that you're going to get like every new issue for, and they'll put them
Yeah,
aside for you.
yeah, you could do that like at your local comic book shop or Newbury Comics. You could even do.
Yeah, which is shocking a little
Yeah,
bit because it's Newbury Comics, which is at this point less of a comic store and more of a like nerd general like paraphernalia place.
yeah, it's like a nerd fashion nova.
Yeah, I did find issue 80 of Nightwing though there
Oh, nice.
because I had a hard time finding issue 80 too. Like because I mean if you're not familiar with them, like the covers of these past few Nightwing issues have been getting like a lot of like praise and stuff. You know, like
Hmm.
there's one of him like climbing up the side of a building dressed in all his different Robin outfits.
Yeah, yeah, it's like you see like a stages of life kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really cool looking. But whenever there's like a really nice cover, that leads people to go out and just buy it for collection.
Hmm.
Uh, so it gets harder to find. But yeah, I would say go read Nightwing, starting with issue 78, 79.
Yeah, and then after you've read the current Nightwing, go ahead and read Hellboy
Yeah,
because it's all out, it's done. Um, there is a definitive end to it, and it is a very satisfying end, which like a lot of comics don't really get.
I'm gonna read Hellboy, and then we're gonna have an episode for it
I'm down for it
where
because
you
like
nerd the fuck out.
I mean, yeah, this is the point of the
It
podcast
is the point of the podcast.
where we both get to nerdgasm a little bit.
Yeah, it's just stroking
Um,
each other's like comic brains.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
this is the best thing in the world.
yeah, it is.
Now, so the topic of today's episode is we're going to be talking about two Elseworld stories in the DC universe.
Yeah,
One of them being Earth X and the other being Earth 3, if I'm correct.
Earth 2.
Earth 2.
Yeah, you said if we're doing it, I can do Earth 3, but I think you texted me
Um,
Earth 2.
it doesn't matter.
We could do either.
Yeah, so for those that I'm more versed in Earth X
Yeah,
than I am in Earth 2, even though like I've read a fair amount of it.
yeah.
Um, Earth X is the Nazi world where Superman landed in 1939. No,
I think it was still
I
38.
yeah, I think he landed 1938 Germany,
Yeah.
and the Nazi Party is the one that found him, and so Hitler raised him to be uh
Wait,
the Uberman.
how old is Superman supposed to be
So he
in
is
Earth X?
Earth X. The timetable is like scaled back a little bit.
Yeah, because
So like
it's like FDR dies a year early,
yeah,
right? And that's kind of like what changes things.
Yeah, so FDR dies early, and then like the Earth is rotated more so that he lands in Germany.
Yeah,
Um, and then it's like 1950 something where World War II happens
yeah.
with
Is it well?
Superman
Isn't
at
it
the
that
helm at the age of 17.
isn't it that World War II is still raging on?
It's either that it started or that it's still raging on, but
Yeah,
it's still like a 17-year-old Superman at the front lines.
yeah. Ubermensch.
Um, yeah, Ubermensch, which like is a very stark contrast to who Superman is.
Well, it's Nazi Superman,
Yeah, it's Nazi Superman,
which
which
is
like
conceptually
isn't
just wild.
yeah, it's like it's not the first time we've had Superman like this. We've had communist Superman, Red Sun,
Yeah, I
who
I think though this might be like the first iteration of kind of this style of a Superman.
oh yeah
Like I think Earth X because the original Earth X was introduced in Crisis on Multiple Earths, which was in the '60s.
yeah, and this was like an evil blonde Superman.
Yeah, so I think like I can't think of a time before that where you have like an evil Superman that was like Clark Kent or Kal El. You
Um,
know what I mean?
yeah, besides, I think Earth 3 came first.
I think Earth 3 actually came. I think Earth 3 was like a Jeff Johns thing.
No,
Like,
because
so 2000s. Or it was a multiple Earths, like, later.
there's definitely like an older comic with the crime syndicate in it.
We're both doing research now. It's hard when you're starting to talk about, like, these kind of things. Earth
Yeah, because
3.
I'm almost 100% sure because I remember Owlman in like a really old costume.
Hmm.
It was like a really old costume. It wasn't like the uh
Oh, it is, still Crisis on, Multiple Earths, I think. Or oh no, it's shortly before. Because in 1964.
yeah, yep, Just League of America number 29, 1964.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
which
so
is, it's like a year before. Uh,
yeah. So
this.
Earth 3 is like the first evil Superman.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about Earth 3 instead of Earth 2?
It's up to you.
I mean, we
Uh
can. I'm more than happy to do that
yeah, no.
because it might make more
Please.
sense.
Yeah, the two evil universes.
Yeah. I should have followed up when you brought it up because that makes more sense for topics for the two
All right, cool.
Earths.
All right, we're talking about Earth 10 and Earth 3.
All right.
There's the redaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. And Earth 10, Earth X has like basically your Justice League heroes are all part of the Nazi party.
Yeah.
Instead of Batman, he's called Leatherwing.
Just it's
Um,
kind of a shitty name.
yeah.
They,
Wonder Woman is still Wonder Woman.
yeah.
Uh,
And she's still
there,
Diana, right?
I don't think she's still Diana. I know because
Earth
on Earth
X
X,
is just to preface this. Earth X is something that I know fairly little about. My knowledge is much less than most of these
mhm,
things. So
you know,
I'm really
Earth
confused.
X. I mean, I did a whole thing with where I got into trying to read every version of Superman.
That's a fun like little time.
Yeah, so it was like I got to like read all these different comics of the Elseworlds. The fucking uh Just League the Nail, where it's like an Amish Superman.
I love the nail.
It's like an Amish one. There's one where like he landed in the 17th century in England.
Hmm.
Um, there's another one where he's Batman instead.
That one's a fun one where he's Bruce
Um,
Wayne.
yeah, and then there's another comic called The Last Family of Krypton, where it's like, what if Jor-El and his wife
Lana, Laura, Laura.
Laura Laurel came to Earth with Kal-El.
Yeah.
Like he just built like a size bigger space pod, and they all came to Earth.
She's like, why not?
Yeah, so these I've read these different versions of Superman, but like it's always the evil ones that stand out.
Well, they're more interesting.
Uh,
An amoral Superman is more interesting than a moral Superman
yeah, it is.
for stories.
Yeah, it unfortunately is.
Well, I mean, and the real reason is we have like 80 plus years now of moral Superman stories.
Yeah, so
Like
like
it's
if
like there's such
the
a
few
deep backlog.
the few bad ones are like they just really stick out there.
Yeah, it's like it's why Injustice was so popular.
Hmm.
Like it's because hey, you've never seen like Superman as actual like Clark Kent, the Superman that you know, go bad.
Hmm.
Like you never get to see like the turn. You always get
Yeah,
the
of
you
like him,
always
like.
yeah you always see the end point when you read an Elseworld story, kind of.
Hmm. Yeah, but back to Earth X. Wonder Woman isn't called Wonder Woman; she's called Brundlehide.
Which
'Cause,
I guess is a
'cause-
pretty good translation.
yeah, because she's like blonde. She looks very Norse. Then you got Leatherwing. The Flash is called Blitzen
Yeah.
in this universe, and then
Which straight
uh,
up, the Flash's like thing, Blitzen is like the best one.
yeah, out of their name
Out of
changes,
their
it's the
name
best
changes,
one
it's the best one.
because like it still makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you got the Martian, which is Martian Manhunter, who instead of green comes up as white,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. And then instead of Aquaman, you just have Underwater Man.
Again, it's like here's the thing. Usually, like the evil guys get better names. It's just how it works normally.
Normally,
Normally, they were just like, yeah, we're gonna give them the lamest fucking like aliases we can think of.
yeah, absolutely. But it is just the Nazi Earth.
Yeah.
Like the Nazis won World War II. Superman leads the Nazi Party. Um, and then he led the Nazi Party up until Final Crisis,
Yeah.
because then he was gone for 3 years on Earth X. Earth X time, he was gone for 3 years. Um, and that's when he was with the gangs of Supermen trying to help with this last crisis. Uh, and then he found his version of Supergirl dead. Um,
Yeah.
and there's like a panel of him just like screaming 9. Um,
It's a reference to that other. Well, I mean, I guess that the Infinite Earths panel is a reference to that in a way.
mhm.
Like they're kind of homages, even though this happened like 30 years before.
um, yeah, and then he comes back to Earth X to find out that they've killed the Jewish people, because
Yeah.
like he didn't want that, because like yes, he's Nazi Superman, but he wasn't out to kill everybody.
Yeah. It's
And
kind of
then
a weird like take on Nazi ideology.
yeah, because he was still, I don't want to say morally good, but like he wasn't in it for the senseless killing.
Yeah, yeah, he was like a very logical like it was a logical evil.
Yeah, it was a logical evil where he's like, yeah, everyone's gonna be German. It doesn't matter what you were, you're all gonna be German.
Yeah.
And then the the Germans back on Earth X killed the Jewish and like all the other minorities that they didn't deem proper. And he came back, and then he gave up on the Nazi Party.
Yeah.
He set up so that the Justice League would all die, and he would just leave. And like in the current issue with Freedom Fighters, he is gone. He's no longer on Earth X.
Yeah.
Where he is and if they would ever bring him back, I have no idea. But as of right now, no retcons. Their version of the Justice League is dead because of Superman, and Superman has just fucked off somewhere else in space.
So tell me about the Freedom Fighters, because I didn't know it existed.
Um,
I
there's
I went and I tried to look up things for Earth X before this video, for this episode of the podcast, and I was like trying to like find some stuff, and I'm like, oh, I guess it was just really that one like story and a
mhm.
couple like pop ups in the thing. I didn't know that they had their own run.
Yeah,
But
it,
it
it
kind of
was it was 2019 was the run.
yeah.
And it was just basically okay. The world doesn't know Superman's gone. Only like those high up in command know that he's gone. So like they still use him as a threat to keep people in line. But it's like it's Adolf Hitler's son who's in charge of the Nazi party now. And the Nazis still are running shit. And like you have like Uncle Sam, the Bombardier, which is like their version of the Atom.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another hero who I forget what his other counterpart is. I know he's a part of the Justice Society of America, where he just explodes.
I'm trying to think. Is it Human Bomb?
Human Bomb.
Roy
That's who it is.
Lincoln, the human. I'm on the DC database
Yeah, so it's
thing.
Roy Lincoln, the Human Bomb. He's part of it. And then there's like their version of the Falcon that's on the
Yeah.
team. I
Uh,
think his name is Falcon.
is it Black Condor?
Black Condor. That's a name.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up this picture of him. Oh, wait. This guy is
And
wild.
like he really is just the Falcon.
Except he does not wear many clothes.
No, no, he does
He
not.
is largely, barely clothed. He wears like a cape. He wears a cape and underwear, and that's about it.
But yeah, and then they have Uncle Sam, who's the spirit of America.
Uncle Sam as like a character always blew my mind because it was like, wait, are you telling me that back in like the '60s they were just like, hey, we need a creative character who's the spirit of fucking America, and it's like, all right, make him look like Uncle Sam, make him look like the guy who goes, I need you,
No,
like.
okay, so you want exactly that guy. Got it.
Yeah, it's like just draw Uncle Sam. It like as a concept to me, it always seemed like a joke until I realized it was real.
Yeah.
Like it was one of those things that would show up in like cartoons sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you would like see it in like a cartoon, maybe like something with Stargirl showing up or something like that, or just in
Yeah, and then
general.
you just see Uncle Sam off in the background or whatever.
Yeah, you see him in like big team up things too.
Yeah,
Like
like he was in Justice League Unlimited,
yeah, exactly. That's what I was just thinking of.
which like they just showed him and it was like, why the fuck is Uncle Sam here? But yeah, so Uncle Sam is here and he's like at his weakest because the American people as a whole have just been wiped out
Yeah,
and replaced with German nationalities.
he's powered by the American dream.
I think there's a point in the comic where he recites Abe Lincoln's 20 years ago speech to
Four score
power
and
himself
seven
up.
years ago.
Listen, it's ridiculous in the comic because he recites it and then he powers up and then like he gets people to sing the Pledge of Allegiance on like an intercom and then he's like, oh. It's as a premise, it's ridiculous, but it fits for the comic.
It's,
Uh,
it's so ridiculous.
and so it's just the run is just basically the freedom fighters, uh, just taken down the Nazi regime.
And you're talking about the most recent like thing.
Yep, in 2019.
That's
Um,
beautiful.
and then this is like where we see their version of not the elongated man, um,
Uh,
the other one, Brian
the Plastic Man.
Plastic Man. You see their version of Plastic Men, which is like they're rubber men because like
Plastic
they give
Plastic Man is like just for context. Plastic Man is like the goofy, funny version of like the. He's essentially the same as the Elongated Man, but
yeah, but like more comicky.
he's comic-y. He at one point was like a like very low grade villain.
Yeah, because he was a thief.
Yeah, he was like kind of like a he didn't do much,
Um, but
but
yeah, so they have their version of him here, but it's more like he's their version of a super soldier
yeah,
because they take that serum that makes Plastic Man, and they give it to other people in the Nazi army,
which is crazy.
and it is terrifying
Yeah,
because they can like mold into doors and like you walk into a room and then they're there the entire time.
yeah. For
They have
context, Plastic Man. Just to talk about how powerful Plastic Man actually is, there is a scene in a deceased comic where he is a giant pool that eats people.
oh yeah, he was the Red Sea that they had to get across.
Yeah, they thought it was like this sea of blood, and it just turns out to be Plastic Man, like undead Plastic Man eating people.
Also, if you were to read Flashpoint, there's an issue where they're in the super jail that all the villains are in, and Plastic Man goes inside someone, lining their entire inside of their body to get in the jail,
Yeah,
and then uses it and then spikes up on the inside to kill someone.
it's insane. Like in terms of like just a power set, like you would think Plastic Man is like, oh, it's all funny, but I mean, he can turn into anything. He turns into chairs and shit.
He turns into cars.
Yeah, like literally, his power set is I can become things. He's more similar to like Mystique, but more powerful than that,
Yeah.
I
And
guess.
the only issue is that he's always in the same color scheme.
Yeah, yeah. But I've also seen sometimes where they're just like they do away with that.
'Cause I know he has a son that can do everything he can do, but he could change the color scheme to match the environments.
Yeah, he was in Injustice Year Two.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um, but freedom fighters just them trying to take over, retake America for what it is, fighting the rubber man and everything, and then they fight their version of a cyborg Superman that Hitler's grandson has been working on to like re-bolster the Nazi morale, I guess.
yep.
And then they kill him, and then they retake America in this universe. And then Black Condor, he ends up taking the Plastic Man formula, which like for some reason shortens their lifespan to a year.
You tell him. Well, I mean, they're changing their bodies to become plastic,
Yeah,
right? Like, not the craziest thing I've ever heard.
yeah. So yeah, um, yeah. So they end up taking it over, and then Black Condor reduces his life to a year to free all the people in the slave camps, basically.
Yeah,
And then he's the one who ends up killing uh, Adolf's son, like in his bedroom. Like he just like sneaks up on him and like just like suffocates him with the rubber shit. It's not a happy comic to be reading. A
well,
lot of people
it's
die.
it's a Nazi comic.
Yeah.
Well, not a Nazi world comic. So yeah. Also, when I was like doing like looking up stuff about Earth X, I found out that a lot of like these characters a lot of why they did an Earth X thing was because they wanted to bring in characters from what's it called? The Quality Comics, because DC had recently obtained the rights, like in the past like 10 years, they had obtained the rights to Quality Comics characters. So they wanted to reintroduce them in like a way that made sense. So they introduced them as the Freedom Fighters or Earth X.
Oh,
So all the characters that you have, like, who the fuck is that? That like I don't know. But that's even I think even Plastic Man is also originally a Quality Comics character. Um, but I might be yeah. No, he was. He was originally a Quality Comics character. So like all the characters that you see there are because
I
they
did not
got
know that.
acquired. Yeah.
I did not know that.
And as in terms of like a way to like introduce characters that you have purchased, essentially, like you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like you got your new character pack, your new fighter pack, DLC as a company. Like this is a pretty good way to do it. You know, you make them a team that exists on this Earth.
Yeah, you just like kind of like file them off to some other place,
Yeah.
and then you just bring them back when it's like, okay, we got to make sure people know we still own them.
All right, we got a crisis event. Let's roll them into main continuity whenever we want. Yeah.
But yeah, that's like you said, like there's not a lot on Earth X.
Yeah.
But it's just definitely one of those ones that's memorable for having a Nazi Superman.
Yeah. I mean, so all you need to know about Earth X is that it's interesting enough that the CW were like, "Hey, let's do a whole crossover about it."
Yeah,
Like cuz that was the fourth crossover event, like the fourth big one or the
yeah.
fifth big one. I can't remember.
I think it was the fourth.
Yeah, like it was Crisis on Earth X, which was their like kind of Crisis on Multiple Earths kind of like thing.
Because
Like
they went from their Earth to Earth 2, which was Supergirl's Earth.
uh Earth 2 was no, Earth 2 was like a thing from the Flash, but
No, 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 Earth 2 was a different thing,
I think it
but
was
like
Earth like
Supergirl was on
30
another Earth.
30 something. The Supergirl's Earth. It's not really important, but they like the CW shows have pretty consistently followed the order of crises like that have happened, and this was their one right after the aliens like Eradicators one.
Yep, and then the last crossover one was
Crisis on Infinite
Crisis on
Earths,
Infinite Earths.
which was wild. If you're like a comics fan and you didn't watch that, like you're missing out. I think
There were a lot of great scenes that like held back to the comics.
yeah. I actually I know the guy. He's a family friend. My dad is his son's godfather. I know him. He plays Jonah Hex
Oh,
in the CW.
oh shit.
Yeah. So like I was asking him questions. I got to see him like right between the like first couple episodes and the second couple episodes.
Mhm.
Like because the second couple episodes happened at the beginning of COVID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to see him in like winter 2019. He was like in town, and I was asking him questions about like what it was like to like was he like excited like to film? He's like, yeah, it was like really cool because they brought everything together. Like so, even like from an acting point of view, it was like
It was cool because like,
yeah,
usually they're not on the same set and now everybody in their super suit is on the same set.
yeah. It's a wild thing. I mean, we
Um,
should get him on at some point. That'd be fun.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
But that's basically Earth X. There's really not much else to know. Now Earth 3.
Earth 3. So Earth 3 is Earth that a lot of people actually probably know about, probably more than Earth X because of its introduction in the Justice League cartoon, kind of. It
It wasn't an animated movie.
yeah, it was an anime movie. It stars a evil everyone because it is a Earth where morality is opposite.
Yep. So everyone good is now evil. Everyone evil is now good.
Yes. So you're dealing with like evil Super Ultraman, who is uh, Cal Ill.
Cal Ill, yeah,
Like you have a Superwoman,
who's Lois Lane.
yeah, which is it's crazy. You have evil Flash, who is what is he, Johnny Quick?
Johnny Quick, yeah,
Yeah, your name. Owlman, who is
yep,
Thomas Wayne Jr.
yep.
Right? And I'm missing someone.
They have the Submariner, which is like their Aquaman.
Is he the wait?
Um,
Do they call him the Submariner?
yeah,
Like Namor?
yeah.
How is that not like?
I don't because they just had like the Submariner. I believe that's what he was called.
I'm just shocked that they get away with it.
And like in the New 52 when they brought him in, he looked very much like Aquaman pre 52 with like the hook arm.
Yeah,
They also had Atomica, which is their version of the Atom.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
then with Young
Power Ring.
Justice, Powering.
Fucking who's a coward.
Yeah.
He has a butterfly on his chest.
hmm
It's supposed to be a butterfly, right?
I don't think it's supposed to be a butterfly, but it looks like a butterfly.
Yeah. Like so the original I have like the original comic where they showed up like on my screen right now. The like five that they show is Johnny Quick, Owlman, who has a actual owl on his head.
Yeah, yeah.
It's way weirder than what they have now. Power Ring, Superwoman, and Ultraman, and like Ultraman's like costume is less Superman-y than it is now. Like their costumes are a little bit more distinct um, than they are now because now it's just hey, what does evil Justice League look like? They look like the Justice League but evil. Johnny Quick has a cone head. It's red. It's kind of fucking wild. But they were
Yep.
introduced. I think it was. We talked about this earlier, but they were introduced like a year before Crisis on Multiple Earths.
hmm
Um, and then they most recently have gotten their own series, their own limited run
Yep,
called the Crime Syndicate.
they're on issue number 5 right now.
Yeah, where it's talking about like their origins, right?
Yep.
So
It's like their first team up.
yeah, I haven't read all of them. I read the first, I think, three,
hmm
and so far it's like really good.
Yeah. Like
Like,
it's definitely it's just the inverse on how the Justice League met and for the reasons.
yeah, but I mean, so if after today you want to know more about them, after like we talk about it a bit more, but you want to know more, go pick up Crime Syndicate issue 1.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is brand new.
yeah, it's something that you can buy now and read along with us. Uh, but yeah, like so. But before this, they were more recently shown in Forever Evil, which was a New
Yep.
52 event, which I think introduced a lot
Is
of people to the crime syndicate in general.
Yep, it was an amazing run.
Yeah, it was it was really good. We talked about it a little bit during our DC timeline stuff, where it's the event where Lex Luthor kind of realizes that he doesn't want to be a bad guy anymore.
hmm
Um, and Dick Grayson supposedly dies and stuff. Like that was like the big thing at the time.
Yeah, it's set up a lot.
Yeah, it said a lot. It was like hey, Lex Luthor like has kind of like come around, and Dick Grayson was unmasked and killed on TV.
It's also where we got our first New 52 iteration of Bizarro.
Yeah, yeah. Who died? Pretty fuck. Like, it was like Bizarro was around for all of I don't know what an issue or two.
Yeah, and
Like
then they brought him back with Red Hood and the Outlaws, which I really liked.
Red Hood. We should do a run on Red Hood stuff because I think what DC's been doing with Red Hood since the New 52 has been pretty stellar.
Yeah, like out of the New 52, Red Hood, the Red Hood like things to come out of it were really great.
Yeah, like they really got his character down pat. Like it's like, hey, he's not just a crazy murderer.
You know, there's something to
There's
him.
something to him. He has a backstory, and it's interesting. He trained in
Um,
the undead world and shit. Like,
yeah, and him and Dick Grayson banged the same girl,
yeah,
Starfire.
yeah,
Um,
no, we know.
but Earth 3 is it's definitely flushed out a lot more than Earth X.
Yeah, and it's flushed out a lot more in recent years.
Yeah, because
Like,
like the new 50, like the power sets on some of them are also the reverse for the heroes.
yeah, because like the situation kind of was you had the Earth 3 like event in the Justice League comics back in like the 60s. And then up until this is why I thought Jeff Johns they were kind of a Jeff Johns invention because like in my mind I can't like remember a time between then and now like and like the 2000s when the
It,
JLA was reintroduced
yep,
when they showed up. So um and they barely showed up during that. But yeah, no, they come about in like the coolest way where you have these characters who don't really get along at all. Like the Crime Syndicate, where you think they would be like kind of evil Justice League and that like they would do evil together. They're always like kind of at odds.
yeah, they're always out for themselves.
Yeah. So it's like it's not, and it's because the world is so, hey, morality is flipped that like Ultraman is charged by kryptonite, not hurt by it. It is his power source.
Yeah, he eats
Like,
it.
and like you have like Johnny Quick is like kind of the opposite character in Barry Allen. Like he's where Barry Allen kind of comes off as like impulsive sometimes. Usually he just takes the time to do stuff because he has the time to do stuff. Like Johnny Quick is like a crazy like I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want like right now.
Yep.
Like
And if
he's like a
if
teenager like kind of, you know what I
man, if that
mean?
means killing a few guards, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
And then also, Ultraman is hurt by sunlight.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
I forget that.
his metropolis is dark.
It's so funny to have that as
Um,
your like your Achilles heel.
yeah, and then the only kryptonite that can hurt him, I think, is blue kryptonite.
Is it here? I'm gonna look it up. But keep talking.
Yeah, I believe it's blue kryptonite,
I think you're right.
which like isn't real kryptonite. It's like a Bizarro's kryptonite.
Yeah, it's really strange.
But like any other kryptonite that's not blue, Ultraman kind of just like powders in his hand and snorts it like a line of cocaine.
Yeah, I mean he needs kryptonite to like he will lose his abilities without kryptonite. He is absolutely a weaker version of Superman in that without like kryptonite from his Earth.
Yeah, he has a dependency on kryptonite.
Yeah, he's like an addict, like literally an
Hmm.
addict.
Yep.
But and if he does too much, he'll become paralyzed.
Yeah,
Like
it's really weird.
he has a lot of caveats.
Um,
So but
he also, but didn't he also turn into a vampire on Final Crisis?
Yeah. Why you gotta bring that up? That hurts me so much. It's so dumb.
Just remember, I just
Motherfucker
remember,
acting like a
I
vampire.
just remember this panel of Ultraman with his vampire teeth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then the Owlman of that universe is also the leading mob boss, right?
Yeah. It should be noted that the original Crime Syndicate, just to be quick, because I just picked up on this and I wanted to make sure that we put it here. The original Crime Syndicate, uh, Superwoman wasn't Lois Lane. It was like a Diana Prince character, like copy,
Hmm.
because Lois Lane was married to Lex Luthor.
Oh, in this universe?
In So there's Earth. So the way DC does it is the pre-crisis Earth 3 is Earth 3 spelled out, THREE,
REE.
but the new Earth 3 is Earth 3, the number. Um, and in Earth 3 spelled out, you have like Lex Luthor, the good Lex Luthor, married to Lois Lane, and I think they have a kid together, actually.
Huh.
But in Earth 3, the number, you have Lois Lane as Superwoman. I think just to make it more straightforward for people, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
And
It's
then
like,
her,
oh, that's interesting.
and like instead of the lasso of truth, she has the lasso of submission, and it's basically just like barbed wire.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's right. The like, I mean, let's be real though. The concept of a like Wonder Woman character with a lasso of submission is just pretty much what Wonder Woman was originally
Yeah.
created to do,
Yeah.
right? That's why I'm
And that
laughing.
was like the the original Wonder Woman was well, for the time it was very sexist and everything like attached to it, because it was like she would have all the strength, she'd be on Superman's level unless a man grabbed her arms.
Yeah.
If a man grabbed her arms, she'd be completely defenseless.
I
And
mean,
then if a man tied her, she couldn't get out of it.
yeah, it's insane. It makes like no sense. Um, yeah, a barbed lasso that compels the tied individual to obey and love the wielder. Um, yeah, Wonder Woman
Kinky.
was created by I can't remember, like he was studying like human sexuality and stuff like that. That's like the guy. It was the guy who created Wonder Woman.
Now, was he also into BDSM?
Yeah, yeah, she was created as a bondage character. Um, and it like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I'd have to do my own research on that.
We should. That's an episode
Like,
of
I
itself.
know, like the some of the shitty reasons why some characters were made to spite another or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, there's actually a Amazon series about this guy.
isn't it like a documentary on Wonder Woman, and like, or is it just the guy?
No, it's on the guy. It's not a documentary. I think it's like a dramatized. Here, one sec. I'm gonna pull it up. Go over Johnny Quick though, or
I mean,
Power Ring. Power Ring's a good one.
uh, Power Ring is just kind of a weakling. He's like the weakest form of whatever Green Lantern they decide to put in for Power Ring. Like in the Crime Syndicate newest one, it's John Stewart. But in the new 52 version, it was Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
and it's like just the weakest version of them. But the ring, instead of it being a ring of willpower or whatever, it's like kind of a an otherworldly parasite, I want to call it. It's like it kind of like fixes onto the person it's wearing or whatever, and like it just grafts itself onto their finger. They can't take it off. And it kind of calls them. It just kind of calls them a pussy all day long
Yeah.
until they actually do shit.
Which,
And then even then, it's still saying, "Yeah, you ain't shit. You're kind of a bitch."
yeah, he always seemed like a very weird. Because I get it. It's like, hey, it's the opposite, but also, well, how does he even do anything?
Yeah, and like it's like he has to like feed the ring people. I think
Yeah.
at least in the new 52 version.
I think we
Um,
should talk just about the New 52 version, mostly, just because it's the one that everyone's familiar with now.
um, yeah, that power ring got like immediately taken out by Sinestro. Like it wasn't even a challenge.
Because why would it be? It's a coward ring.
Um, that was also where in the new 52 we see Batman wield the Yellow Lantern ring for the first time.
Man, did it Batman? No, because Batman was dead.
Yep.
I was like, I was about to talk about Darkest Night, but then, yeah, no, Batman was dead.
Um,
Blackest Night.
Blackest Night, yeah. Um, Ultraman was put in a jail at the end of Forever Evil.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then Superwoman Lois Lane was pregnant with Darkseid's son.
Which we brought up because he came up in Metal.
Um, they also had a Shazam,
Yeah, they had a Shazam. They also had a Firestorm called Deathstorm,
Deathstorm, because it was like
which
instead of the experiment that created Firestorm with two people, it was like the Doctor and a dead body.
yeah, yeah, it was dark.
Did,
I'm looking for the Shazam. I'm trying to remember what he's called.
his name was Mazash. It was Shazam backwards, and it was their Lex Luthor.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that it
was.
was, and then it was like a love triangle between Lex Luthor, Ultraman, and Owlman over Superwoman.
It's a love square, my dude.
I mean, I took Superwoman out because it was kind of just a dick measuring contest between them three.
Trying to figure out whose dick deserves the most love.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
god.
yeah, and pretty much everyone died
It on Earth 3?
from like went in Forever Evil.
Yeah, that was like the thing.
Besides the big three,
Yeah, that
Superwoman, Ultraman, and Owlman.
yeah, that's why it's a big deal that the crime syndicate thing was launched. That's why people were kind of excited
Hmm.
because we weren't expecting it to happen. There was no reason to expect it, you know? When they
Yeah,
started to
yeah.
announce this stuff, it was like, is there interest? I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously there is from what we've seen. Like people are eating it up. Um, but like, were we all asking for it? Not really.
Um, Earth 3 also after uh Death Metal got rebooted.
Fat.
So in Superman issue number 8, the 2018 one, there is a new Earth 3.
Yeah.
Who the Ultraman beat the shit out of Superboy.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Superboy got aged up to be like the new Superman. We're gonna have to talk about the new Superman run when it comes out a little bit
Mhm.
because I'm looking forward to it. It's coming later July.
Yeah.
But I digress. He was Ultraman's prisoner for a couple years, his time, but it was
Hmm.
like a month. Um,
3 weeks.
yeah, three. You're right. Three. It was 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks in main DC universe time.
Yeah, but he spent like a year. He was like 13 when he left,
Yeah,
and then he came back 18.
yeah,
And that entire time he was like trapped in a volcano
yeah.
with being Ultraman's therapist.
And then when he escaped, he got beat up by his a woman who looks like his mom.
His Superwoman, yeah.
Yeah, like so it was a double whammy for him.
They also Earth 3 also has their own version of Young Justice.
Yep.
Where instead of Red Robin or Robin or whatever moniker Tim Drake was going on as.
Red Robin, I think at the time. Drake. No, it's
Um,
Drake. That's right.
yeah, the Earth 3 version of him went by Drake.
Yeah. It was
And
cool when they
then
showed up in the Young Justice.
they had their own uh Wonder Girl, their own Superboy.
MX on Thunder.
Like,
That's the Wonder Girl. She has black hair.
and the Superboy has a mohawk, and he leans more into the Lex Luthor side of him,
Yeah.
because I think, for continuity it doesn't make sense,
It makes zero sense.
because in this world he's supposed to lean more towards the Ultraman still.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like who created him. Well, here's what I would say. It's kind of like Lex Luthor still created him, but he was probably like liberated by, because we don't actually know his history.
Yeah,
Uh,
he just shows
but
up.
he was probably liberated by like Ultraman for some evil shit in the doing of evil shit,
Mhm.
or this Young Justice team, right? Um, and then he swore allegiance to them while like doing like, hey, Lex Luthor fucking hair, because who gives a shit? It doesn't make
um
sense.
yeah, no.
Jo-
um
yeah,
mhm.
Jonathan and Martha Kent also are horrible in Earth
Didn't
3.
Ultraman kill them?
Yeah, because they've been abusing like him.
No, I think, because I might be getting it wrong, but in the newest, like, when it showed Ultraman's origin story, he crash landed in Kansas,
Yeah.
um, and then he hopped out the damn thing,
Oh, yeah, he coerced them.
uh, and it burned um Jonathan Kent's arm off, and it's like, you're gonna be my parents now.
Yeah, he made them raise him until he was 7.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then he killed them.
yeah, that's right. Jonathan Kent was abusing Martha in the
Yeah.
opening panel for that, and then like something happens. It's
Um,
fucking insane.
and then Thomas Wayne Jr. is the one who killed his parents,
Yep.
right? Or did he get Alfred to kill them?
I think he got Alfred to kill them.
And then he killed Bruce.
Or was there a Bruce?
There was a Bruce. Bruce was his little brother.
I remember. Yeah, no, you're right. Thomas murdered Bruce and Alfred murdered the parents.
Yeah.
But Thomas was sad about it. He was sad
Yeah,
about
because, like,
murdering Bruce.
yeah, he was sad about murdering Bruce because he wanted his little brother.
Yeah.
He's also the one who killed their version of Dick Grayson's parents
Yeah.
to raise Dick Grayson.
Like very similar to like a kind of like a jokery thing to do.
Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
it's
With Jason Todd.
yeah, it's kind of like a very Joker-esque like, hey, I'm gonna kill your parents, but then you're gonna love me.
Yeah, and then when Dick Grayson found out he had to kill Dick Grayson.
Yeah. The I mean, my favorite part, one of my favorite things that happened in death metal, my favorite thing that Owlman's ever been a part of, was seeing him like get talked down by Jon Stewart being like, "Hey, but I'm the most evil Batman." Like, I'm
He's like,
I'm the evil Batman. That fucker out there, he's not the most evil Batman. It's me. Which is
oh
just
yeah, because he
like,
had that whole identity thing where it's like,
yeah,
no, I'm the evil
yeah,
Batman.
like the Batman who laughs. What a freak! Like, it's like, wow.
Like he didn't he help Jon Stewart out of pure spite for the Batman
Yes,
Who Laughs?
yeah, he did. That's Jon Stewart. Like, convinced him. He's like, wow, you're pretty fucked up. But I mean, he's obviously more evil than you. Like, but don't you want to make him pay? Like, don't you
Oh,
want to show that you're the
oh,
evil Batman? Don't you want to like fuck
and
Batman?
and isn't this where Owlman realizes that he's like the fourth iteration of Owlman?
Yes, he's like, because he's gets Jon Stewart, like, gives him a USB that has like the history of the multiverse on it. Because at this point, they all know about them, like the rewrites and things. They know that they've happened.
Oh yeah, and so like Owlman is like, no, this just solidifies my thought on me being Batman's polar
He's
opposite
like,
because I
if
always
I
come
if
back.
I die, I'll just get reincarnated. Was kind of this thing.
Yeah, but if the Batman Who Laughs dies, he's not coming back.
Yeah, there's only one of him. There's infinite of me. It was like, it was a great like scene. I really enjoyed it. I
Um,
hope they turn like the metal and stuff. Like, I hope they turn those into like an animated movie.
Death Metal is getting a soundtrack released for them.
Like metal did. Like, I
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, I really enjoyed listening to it while I was rereading metal for our last episode. It was a lot of fun.
yeah. I think either that it's coming out sometime this week or it's already come out.
Mm,
Um,
yeah.
hold on, let me do a quick look.
If you don't know what we're talking about, the DC has like released an official soundtrack, like to listen to alongside when you're reading the metal comic. Like, so apparently, I'm just finding this out. They're doing one for death metal.
Yep,
They have it on Spotify. Oh
I'm not sure if
hell
you
yeah!
can see it.
I see it. There it goes. Beautiful. That's
Yep,
super cool. What's on it?
Dark Knight's Death Metal. Forged by Neuron, Diana. They have a song called Anti Life.
Hell yeah.
It's just Good Time Girl, Berserker, Now You've Really Done It, Stone Cold Earth, Sodium, and Kissing in the Rain.
Love it.
Which like Kissing in the Rain is the last song, which fits for Wonder Woman and the Batman Who Laughs fight.
Yeah.
Um, but, they really I think they released this last week.
Man, I okay. Well, I know what I'm gonna do after we get off of this.
Reread Death Metal.
Yeah.
Uh,
Third
but
time's the charm.
uh, Earth Earth Three's universe, especially with the Death Metal with Owlman, it'd be like, yeah, no, there's infinite versions of me. I'll always be back.
He's right.
He's absolutely right.
He, he's an
Um,
interesting enough character that DC will consistently bring him back.
and like I think that's due in part to the new 52.
Yeah.
Because they did Owlman right in the new 52.
Yeah,
We're
because
like,
the only times they've done it before is the original. Then they did one during Jeff Johns' run.
yep.
And then the New 52, and now this one. So this is the fourth one.
And then with I believe the new 52 Owlman, he died sitting on the Mobius chair, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty sure.
He's like he knew everything at one point, and I think it was Doctor Manhattan or Mister Manhattan who killed him.
Oh, Owlman asked the chair to reveal him the universe's secrets, and then he stopped mid sentence, said no, and then Metron asked him what was wrong, and Owlman says that he is here, and
Yeah.
Metron and Owlman are vaporized.
Oh
But yeah, the
shit.
he I believe is Doctor Manhattan. Yeah,
And that's a nice setup.
fucking like it's crazy that that happened. Like, I mean, that was back in like Dark Side War. Fucking wild. Good setup for that next like leg of DC continuity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being like, hey, we're gonna start doing some Watchmen shit. Like,
Um,
gonna explain away some of the stuff that we did the past 5 years.
like Owlman, Ultraman, and Superwoman, along with like Power Ring and like the rest of the evil Justice League, I feel like they're a not a big part of like the mainstay universe, but like it's a good reflection of it.
I mean, they're the third Earth. Like, of all the numbered Earths that we have, there are three. That's and those are like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the number is usually like kind of related to how distant they are from the main universe. Usually on the map.
Um, I don't think so.
If
I
I
believe if
like
I'm
how
remembering,
different things are like in relation, right?
um,
That's how I've always seen it. Like the higher up you get in numbers, the more differences that there are. Like, because the
because
only difference on Earth 3 is that it's flipped. You know?
mm-hmm, because I'm trying to think because there's definitely other Earths where almost everything is the exact same.
Yeah.
Like I know Kingdom Come has its own Earth,
Yeah.
and then
And I'm
the
talking
just
about, just to be clear, I'm talking about pre Infinite Frontier
yeah,
universe because I have no idea about anything after that.
yeah, like there's
There's no good answer.
like the Justice League TV show
Yeah.
that is its own Earth
Yeah.
because it goes along with like Batman Beyond.
And that shit's coming back.
Is it?
As a comic, did you not hear about this? I
No.
thought I texted you. It's coming back as a comic. Continuing off of the end of Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, I think you did tell me. I think you did tell me.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Is that coming in July?
I think it's coming. From I was reading things, and it's like it said it's supposed to already be out, and I'm like, I tried to find it, but I would imagine July. July's gonna be a big month for comics. Sorry, some water.
Yeah, because July, I know we're talking about DC, but we're also getting a big event for Marvel in
Yeah,
July.
Heroes Return.
Heroes Return already came out.
Yeah, it just came out. It started. Are you talking about
But
another big event? Oh, is it
yeah,
Dark
Dark
Ages?
Ages. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. I just started reading Heroes Reborn. That was another pull for this week for me. I got the first three.
Yeah, that event ended last week with
Yeah,
Heroes Return.
yeah,
Yeah, Heroes Return kind of set. I thought Heroes Reborn was gonna be like a new status quo. It's not.
yeah. There was, I mean, there was no way.
I thought it was gonna be like another like mix up to the world after the end of it when they got everything right.
Yeah, I think the way I see uh, Heroes Reborn was either it was going to be like a new imprint, like a new Ultimate Universe style of imprint,
Hmm.
or it was going to get resolved quickly. And it seems like they went with it's going to get resolved quickly.
Yeah, because Heroes Reborn, issue one, which I believe is the only issue that for Heroes Reborn, just wrapped everything up in like the 40 pages.
Wait, there's 7 issues of Heroes Reborn.
There's 7 issues.
Yeah, here, wait. Let me go grab what I pulled because I pulled like three.
'Cause the last thing I saw was that it just being solved 100%. Oh,
Man,
oh.
I'm fucking
I, I I
crazy.
I see where I messed up. It wasn't Heroes Born I was talking about. It was Heroes Return.
Yeah, yeah. But oh, I also got the Harley Quinn from the
Uh,
White Knight.
and White Knight.
But yeah, Heroes Reborn has.
Yeah. Heroes Reborn has the 7 issues,
Yeah.
and Heroes Return is the last issue.
It's similar to how we were talking last week, and we were completely wrong about the Infinite Frontier line of comics, where like we thought that they had already come out.
Yeah, and then it came out this week.
Yeah, the first one came out this week, but they had released as like their pre like introductory stuff for like character profiles,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting, but it's not like.
Did you read in the first issue of Infinite Frontier?
No, I was like, I was gonna give it to you and like hope that we could read it before the show
Mm-hmm.
when we were gonna do it in person, but that didn't happen because of my stuff.
I read it because of my compulsory need to read all the new comics.
Yeah, is it good?
And it's wild.
I'm excited.
Like it like someone is like, I'm having a hard time articulating it because I don't know why this person is playing such a huge part in it. But like someone's playing a huge part in it and I have no idea why.
I'm sure that I'll know who you're talking about when I read it.
100% because like it's something that'll throw you off because it's not someone who's like, and I'm not spoiling anything, it's not someone who's like on a god level.
Are you talking about Roy Harper?
No.
Okay, because I know Roy Harper's in like
Yeah,
this line.
he's in this line, but like it's someone like who's creating this what the issue is.
Yeah.
Because we know at the end of Death Metal, it's Dark Side.
Yeah.
It's like the true Dark Side. He's come and like he's gonna kill everybody.
It's so exciting.
But it's the person who's working directly under him.
Steppenwolf?
No.
Is Steppenwolf back?
It's none of them.
It's like it's someone that I just would not expect.
Yeah.
All right, let me get one good guess in. It's Kite Man.
It might as well be Kite Man.
Damn,
if not,
it's Condiment King.
As well be Kite Man. Huh?
Condiment King?
No, I wish. But it's definitely like I would put him
Napkin Man
on like a grading of villains where Lex Luthor is S tier.
Yeah, sure.
He's definitely like
he's a C tier kind of guy.
He's C tier.
Yeah, I'm trying. I can't think of.
He's definitely C tier with potential to be B.
Okay, it's Clayface.
I would put Clayface as a high B to A tier.
Mm-hmm.
Because he is a valid threat.
Yeah, it depends on what iteration of writer you have on Clayface. Yeah, I don't know.
But
I can't wait to read it now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to read it because like when I read it, I was at work. It was like 3 a.m.
Yeah,
and I stopped everything I was doing. I just said, "What the fuck?"
That's the best. I had a moment like that recently where like I started to tear up during the recent like one of the Nightwing comics because there's like a letter from Alfred to Dick Grayson.
Oh yeah, leaving
him
the millions.
everything. It's like I invest billions. Alfred was a billionaire, guys.
Yeah.
But like I teared up because it was like, oh, this is fucking. That's rough.
Did you read Batman Rest in Peace Alfred? I forget what it's really
Yeah,
called.
yeah. I ended up R.I.P. Pennyworth.
Yeah, R.P. Pennyworth. My God, was that just depressing?
It all hurts. Like all the Alfred stuff, killing me. Especially when like Detective Comics. We're getting off topic, but I feel like we've touched on like most of what we wanted to touch on for
Yeah.
300th X. So we can just talk about whatever, I guess now. Detective Comics lately has just been so fucking funny. The writing for Detective Comics is so hilarious, and like in like a, it's quippy. It's a quippy Batman like comic.
Hmm.
Batman is sometimes kind of silly, and it's like, but not like so far that it's out of character. You know, there's a scene like where there's this page where they're in Greece and Alfred is like pretending to be drunk, like so he'll get robbed, and he's singing in Greek, and like Bruce goes like, hey, so where do you want me to send your Oscar? Like shit, like
Is that in the recent run for Detective Comics?
yeah, it's in this run, like, and I don't know, like there's a lot going on. It's really great. Like
Because I've noticed in the Batman comics, with Alfred dead, Batman Bruce is like definitely more talkative.
yeah, no, like so recently Batman has undergone this kind of transformation where because he's lost all of his money most like well not all of it but like the bulk of his money is now owned by Lucius Fox.
Yeah, so now he has to kind of go like not low tech, but he's stuck with the tech that he has.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a support system. Like the police have turned against him because of the new mayor of Gotham is a very anti-vigilante. It's all basically like lead into
Future state.
yeah the future state kind of world and setup, but he's become a much more interesting character to read. Like, and I always read Batman. I enjoy reading Batman, even when it's like bad. It's still pretty good.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah, we're
like
talking about you, Batman Zeranaw.
yeah, but like the introduction of new characters to like the Batman mythos, like Ghostmaker, was like something that I wasn't expecting. You know what I'm
Hmm.
talking about? Like with Ghostmaker, like Ghostmaker is a character that was introduced to like expand the Batman mythos by saying, "Hey, while Bruce Wayne was training to be Batman,
He had a
another
rival.
guy was training to become a the best crime fighter in the world, kind of for sport, just for
Yeah,
like the love of the game, kind of."
yeah. He's the Batman in like East Asia
He,
who just kills criminals.
he just kills criminals, takes their money, and expands his network,
And
kind
like
of.
the deal between him and Bruce was, you stay over there and I stay here.
Yeah, it's like you don't come to Gotham, and I won't come to any city that you're set up in. So like they have like a flashback where Robin's like, I've only seen him once, and um, it cuts to like Batman getting out of his jet, just yelling with no speech bubbles. It's just like a panel, and then like you can see they're like yelling at each other, and then Batman comes back into the jet, gets annoyed. He's like, "We're leaving. Ghostmaker's gonna have to take care of this." And he's like, Robin's like, "Who's that?" He's like, "He used to be my friend, and now we're not friends anymore."
Because like, wasn't he chasing Scarecrow or
Yeah. He's like, he was
he,
like, the criminal's gonna be extradited back to Gotham. So like, Ghostmaker like sent whoever it was back to Gotham afterwards. But like, what Robin's takeaway from that is like Bruce Wayne just kind of wants his friend back because before like Ghostmaker was like really offended by the fact that Bruce was doing it to avenge his parents. Like,
Yeah,
because it's like,
he saw it as such a trivial reason to do it.
yeah, it's like he thought he was talking with someone who was just like him. Like who was doing it for like the sport of it because only he could, kind of.
Hmm.
Um, but it's interesting because now Ghostmaker is set up in Gotham. Harley Quinn has kind of
Yeah,
joined the
they're
Batman
working together.
team.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like the Batman landscape has never been more interesting than it is right now.
Yeah, and then
Batman's
while this
moved
is
to
all
a flat. Sorry.
yeah, with a crazy landlord.
Yeah, with a crazy landlord, and he has his own. He's basically set up micro caves all over Gotham. And Oracle, Barbara Gordon is back as Oracle, like kind of man in the chairing it, as it were.
And did you read Future State City of Gotham, I think it was, the one with the Red Hood.
I have it. I haven't read it yet because
Um
I was getting through
that
the
that
other Future
was
State stuff.
that was also another good one
Yeah,
because it's like a good moment between Bruce and Jason, which like I always appreciate their little moments together.
you're gonna love Urban Legends. It's because
Um
all that.
because like there's a scene in I think it's Red Hood and the Outlaws where Jason is in Gotham and Bruce like drives up to him in the Batmobile on the like a ridge or whatever with hamburgers,
Yeah,
and he's like, "Yeah, I trust you. I like you. You're
I
one of my sons."
I think the best part of like that run was at the beginning where uh Jason's like, but I break the law, and he's like, you respect the law, hoity toity toy, and then Batman laughs at him. He's like, I break into like private property every night and beat people up. Like,
Yeah,
who do
I
you
break
think
the
I
law
am?
every night.
It's and it's like kind of a peel back of Batman. It's like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah, Batman knows he's not in the legal right of anything.
Yeah, it's funny, like, because it's like normally like you see like, hey, the Red Hood and Batman are always at odds, but it's like they have a lot more in common than they like have indifference, you know?
Yeah, Jason just uses guns
Yeah,
and
that's about it.
like he used to kill people. Like now he doesn't. He's more in line with the Bat family,
Yeah,
with like the few stragglers, that the few outliers where
I
like he gets angry and kills someone.
yeah, I think it's like the kind of deal was like you don't kill in Gotham, and it's like okay,
I won't kill in Gotham, and I won't tell you when I do.
don't wink at me. I don't know, like, but that's why I like Urban Legends so much because it's a lot of like this dealing with the rift between these two. Like, I think this is a kind of the DC setting up for it to be like Jason Todd is just like unapologetically like part of the Bat family and
Hmm.
not in like a uh I mean probably still in like a black sheep sort of way, but like less so in terms of his relationship with Batman.
Yeah, I know. I forget which issue I read, but it was like Jason had the Scarecrow fear toxin in him, and it was like Batman just screaming at him like, "You were a failed Robin, you were a failed child, you were a failed Batman," because that was what the
Battle for the
Battle for the
Cow.
Cow.
I love that.
And then he was like, "And you were a failed leader of your team," talking about Red and the Outlaws,
Yeah.
and Jason kind of like fought through that fear-induced Batman and like didn't kill Scarecrow at the end.
Yeah.
And then he was like, Batman showed up and he was like, "I knew you had it. I knew you wanted to kill them."
I I used to be like a really big Tim Drake fan, right? And
Mm.
the comics, like Tim Drake was like my favorite. And like my problem is the comics have shown Tim Drake zero love in the past few years. Like apart from early Detective Comics Rebirth.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
Yeah.
very briefly, Detective Comics Rebirth was like, oh, Tim Drake, and it's kind of like an interesting take on Tim Drake.
Yeah, Tim Drake is the core for this run of the Bat Family.
Yeah, which is what he should be. He's like he is the second best detective, or the best detective, depending on who's writing.
I would stick with he's the best detective.
Yeah, it's completely dependent. Like there are some like writers who like to do this thing where like once something's established, they'll be like, yeah, even though Batman said this, he didn't mean it.
Yeah, because like I don't know, like me writing aside, I like for the character of Batman. I think we talked about it before how each of the Robins represent
A different side.
something like something that he wishes he could be.
Yeah.
With like Dick Grayson being the Batman with no hangups, Jason Todd, the Batman who can go over that line, Tim Drake, the best detective that
Yeah.
Batman could never like really aspire to.
Damian Wayne, the Batman with parents. Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that one.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
It's like, well, what else is it?
Because for to be a parent, you'd actually have to be there, and Batman isn't.
Man, there's a really sad point in a recent Batman comic where like he's talking like Damian's gone right now. By the way, I'm just gonna put aside something for a second. I have it right here. I'm gonna grab the issue. No, it's not this one. I've gone to the comic shop approximately like I don't know 5 times in the past like 2 weeks. Um, the new Robin costume,
I like the look.
it looks fucking great.
You know, I
It's so
honestly,
fucking cool.
I'm glad they ditched the green.
Yeah, like it's like this makes more. He's like a teenager now, you know. This makes sense,
Yeah.
and it makes sense for his character to wear more black and like, you know. Yeah,
Um.
I like it, but like one of the saddest things in like the most recent Batman is like he's talking about how Robin's gone and like how he blames himself for Alfred's death, and it's like because Alfred was always more of a father to him than I was. It's
Yep.
like fuck, that's oof,
Which is like, but like
that hits different.
in R.I.P. Pennyworth, he Bruce didn't make anything better because Damien made his feelings well known that he felt that fault. He just let Damien walk out.
Man, when they're all doing their like, here's my memory of Alfred. Fuck.
They're all shitting on Bruce.
Yeah, it's all a repute of Bruce. Like most comics nowadays that involve Batman and the Bat Family are a repudiation of Batman as a concept.
Yep.
Like, because Batman does a lot of stupid shit, and it's all been leading up to this reinvention of Batman, which I'm I'm very happy with. I'm more happy reading Batman. I'm more interested in every issue now than I've
Mhm.
ever been before because Gotham as a city has really been taking a big part of it. Like, because Batman's more in Gotham. He's in the center of Gotham.
Yeah, he's no longer on the outskirts
Yeah.
in the mansion.
So you get to see a lot more of like the city be kind of a character,
Yeah.
which is kind of and Gotham's always been like a big part of like the Batman mythos, like in terms of like being its own character
Character.
almost. But it's never been so well shown before.
Hmm.
Like the feelings of the people in Gotham, like towards Batman or like the Bat family. like crime and like how it affects them. Like
Hmm.
you show it through characters like Clown Hunter, um, and like you know people like that, and like characters like Mare Nakano, who was a GCPD cop during the Joker Wars, who lost his
Hmm.
partner like with Batman there, and he lost his eye too. Like so he has really
And then even with
anti-vigilante stint.
uh I think it was pre 52 because I think she became the Question with Renee Montoya.
Yeah, and Renee Montoya like has done like an interesting turnaround, which I didn't expect because Renee Montoya in like continuity was dating Batwoman,
Yep.
so I didn't expect her to turn around and become this anti-vigilante uh, commissioner. She's the commissioner now because
And
Gore.
she's also still the Question.
Is she still the Question?
Yeah, in Checkmate, she's the Question.
I haven't read Checkmate yet.
Yeah, she comes back. It was either in Checkmate or Event Leviathan with Lois Lane. Or Lois Lane had her own comic run for
Although
Event Leviathan.
I read Lois Lane's comic run when it was coming out, it's good.
Yeah. It's definitely that boots to the ground
Yeah,
point of view when it comes to like these big events, which is like for these big events is very insightful in the way regular people would see this kind of shit.
yeah. It
Um
it almost inspired me to write like a movie script or
mm,
like a J. Jonah Jameson movie
and like just seeing New York and like
from his point of
all this
view.
shit.
I like in my mind it would cast Spider-Man from his point of view as like this villain where J. Jonah Jameson's son is like a hero, right? To him.
Hmm.
He's
Yeah.
he's like a literal hero and Spider-Man causes more problems than anyone else, but gets that moniker. Well, his son, like, I would have his son be dead,
Hmm.
right? And then it would be like, this is the internal struggle of J. Jonah
Of J.
James.
Jonah Jameson with Spider-Man.
Yeah, right.
Um,
That's how I
but
would have thought of it.
it's funny that you bring that up because I was gonna bring up for a potential episode to be about Spider-Man.
Well, yeah. A Spider-Man episode? Of course, we're gonna do a Spider-Man episode,
And
right?
like, yeah, absolutely. Because I definitely, because I know DC is definitely more your forte and
Yeah,
mine.
I know a lot about Spider-Man though.
Yeah, because like, out of who, okay, we've broached on the main topic of today's episode. Who are your top five heroes
In general,
in general?
okay. I think, I mean, just because of how I read, it's Batman's up there. Trying to think if he's number one or number two.
Yeah, either heroes, villains, or just comic characters in general.
I've, I'm still, having said what I said, I'm still a big fan of Red Robin, uh, pre New 52.
Hmm.
So if we're talking about like, I will qualify this pre New 52. Red Robin is my number one, likely,
Okay.
and then I would put Batman, and then I'm trying to think. The Flash.
Yep, but
Wally
with
West.
Wally West Flash.
Wally West Flash, because that's my Flash. That's the one I grew up with. Hmm, this is a hard one. I don't think about it a lot. I'm trying to like look at what I have and like read it. I like Ultimate Spider-Man. I think he's up there. He's definitely top five.
Hmm.
So I'll stick him at number four. And then in recent years, I've become a big fan of Nightwing and Red Hood. I'm just trying to figure out who would edge each other out.
Um,
I think Red Hood would edge him out.
it's funny because like though I'm a big Red Hood fan,
Hmm.
like I can't wait for Gotham Knights to come out so I can play Red Hood.
Yo, we gotta play Gotham Knights together.
That would be yes.
That's a
Um,
stream. We could
yeah.
stream that shit.
Um, like even though I'm a huge Red Hood fan,
Yeah,
for me, Nightwing edges out Red Hood.
I think I think in recent years it's become because Red Hoods have had a much better run
Mhm.
recently. So in my mind, the character is still stronger.
Yeah.
I think if I were to say this, like if I were to do this like a year or two ago, it would probably be Nightwing. I think
Mhm.
recently because of how much of a focus DC's put on Red Hood, it's Red Hood. But
Okay, yeah, that
I
makes
I
sense.
also love a good Superboy. So I'm a bigger fan of like the Teen Titans like roster from like Jeff Johns era.
Yeah, then like the actual like bigger
Yeah,
ones.
like Batman gets in there on virtue of being Batman.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like Batman gets in there because of
it's
course he's there.
Batman. It's Batman.
Ultimate Spider-Man because it's one of the things I grew up reading and I really enjoy.
Hmm.
Like I mean Ultimate Spider-Man like up even past like through Miles Morales too. Like I think I just like the Ultimate Spider-Man character concept.
Man, no, it was a great concept.
Yeah. But yeah, what are your top 5?
Number one, Spider-Man. Main continuity Spider-Man only because of the absolute deluge of shit he has to go through to be barely recognized as a hero by the public, but simultaneously be known as one of the greatest heroes amongst the heroes.
That tracks.
Because like I think it was in War of the Realms with Thor,
Mhm.
where uh, Thor pulled Spider-Man aside and was like, "Yeah, no, you're one of the few humans I trust."
Yeah.
And then Captain America respecting Spider-Man amongst like the rest of the heroes. Um, Number two, Superman.
Yeah, I knew that.
For I'm pretty sure anyone can like look back at the episodes and like just hear me rant about Superman.
You love New 52 Superman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's my Superman.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Reading it, it's growing on me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Like I think I'm enough removed now where it's like
you can
it
enjoy it.
yeah, I can enjoy it cuz it's not like everything's been ruined by the existence,
Hmm.
you know.
Um, Superman Earth One also a good read.
Oh shit, yeah. Superman's secret identity.
Superman's Secret Identity, Earth One, and there's another one that has a different origin for him with him joining the Navy.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what it is. The
Um,
only reason I
anyway,
remember secret identity is cuz it's sitting right up there. When
nice.
I looked up, I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
That's the one where he pretends to be Bruce Wayne in, right?
No, Superman's secret identity is the one where he's like it's like kind of like a Superboy Prime story, almost. Um,
It's I think which one am I talking about then?
it's Kurt Busiek, uh, writing Superman from our world. Like a guy named Clark Kent, like finds out he
Hmm.
has powers, and then it's his entire life.
Oh, so yeah, it's like Superboy Prime.
Yeah, but it's like Superboy Prime without like the hey, I went into the comics.
Um, I might have to reread. I'm 80% sure I read it.
If you haven't, I will lend you my copy.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, no, Superman number two, because for obvious reasons. Number three, The Incredible Hulk.
Hmm. Dichotomy of man.
Oh yeah. Something about tortured characters really get to me.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, because like like yeah, like the Bruce Banner part of it all, and him struggling with the Hulk is great. Reading wise, not great for the character. But also the moments where Hulk is the strongest there is, like Planet Hulk, World War Hulk,
Hmm.
Um, and then now with the run of Immortal Hulk.
Hmm. I heard
Um,
Immortal Hulk is just awesome.
yes.
Like I've heard
Um,
nothing but good things.
like Immortal Hulk really delves into the mythos of the Hulk and the other Hulks in the universe, and how no matter how many times you've killed them, they've come back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there's a panel where scientists have like dissected the Hulk into different bits.
Hmm.
So like his head is a jar, his legs, arms, hands, they're all in all every part of him is in a different jar. But like the Hulk's head grew a pair of internal lungs and gills to survive in the jar.
That's the craziest fucking thing I've ever heard, Cisco.
Because the Hulk is like all about adaptability. There's another scene from an earlier comic where the Hulk is at the bottom of the ocean and he develops a way to breathe water.
Gills.
Yeah, it was gills, but it wasn't.
It's
Like
more
he
gills. I'm
yeah,
sensing a theme.
like he developed a way to just walk to breathe. He developed gills to walk on the ocean floor, and
Uh,
like he doesn't need to breathe in space. Like he develops like organs per whatever situation he's in.
Man, it really makes that one character. What's his name? He's the one who like evolves to. He's like an X Men character.
Darwin.
Darwin. Yeah, it really makes Darwin like seem kind of lame when the Hulk can do all
Darwin
this shit.
Darwin and the Hulk fought in World War Hulk.
Yeah, how'd that go for Darwin? I
Um,
imagine not well because it's the Hulk's comic.
no, because he evolves to the betterment of each situation,
Hmm.
his body automatically does it. Like if he's in space, it reacts to it. If he's underwater, volcanoes, whatever, his body reacts to it. His body reacted by turning invisible
That makes
to run
sense.
away.
That makes sense. That's a fun that is a fun little writing.
Yeah, so
Little bit
the
of
the
a
ultimate
yeah.
evolution mutant, the evolution for the Hulk was to run away.
Seems like his evolution is a coward.
I mean, would you want to go up against the Hulk?
Fuck no. I don't
Like
have
he
superpowers.
and like this wasn't like this was World War Hulk, so this was World Breaker.
Yeah.
Like with the battle armor, he fought in the gladiator arena, so he's smarter. He took Wolverine. He let Wolverine claw out his eyes
Hmm.
so that he can grab him and hold him, and then punch his skull so that his brain would rattle in his adamantium skull to mimic the damage of that a boxer faces going 12 rounds in the ring,
Yeah.
so that Wolverine couldn't stand up and his healing factor couldn't catch up to it.
That's fucking wild.
And that was the Hulk. Like that. This is why he's number three for me
Yeah. No, it makes
because
sense.
he has this range.
You like strong. Like you like kind of like these powerhouse characters.
I like the powerhouse characters that really check themselves
Yeah.
because Spider-Man isn't a pushover.
Yeah.
He there's
Spider-Man's
a
very incredibly strong. He's like he's been shown to be incredibly strong, and then he has to hold back.
yeah like in uh Spider-Man Craven's Last Hunt
Mm, that's a
where
dark fucking
where
story.
where he takes his hand to Craven's wife and just rips off her face with just like the sticking the hand. And like also like whenever you see Spider-Man lose it, he loses it in a way so that he kills everyone.
Yeah, that's what I like
Um,
about like the what's it called, the shadow
Web Shadow,
web
yeah.
shadow. It's like it's so gritty.
Mm-hmm.
what they're doing with it, and I really enjoy it.
Um, then they have like the What If Spider-Man. What if Spider-Man became the Punisher?
Yeah, yeah. What if the
Um,
Punishment
it,
met Archie?
yeah.
Archie versus the Punisher, craziest crossover I could think of.
Did you read Eminem versus the Punisher?
No, did
That
you?
was also a comic run.
Yeah. Did you read KFC Champions? You wait. Are you telling me you haven't seen Colonel Sanders of Two Earths?
No.
There's so DC teamed up with KFC for some comics, and I grabbed one because I was like, this has to be really fucking dumb. It was.
And was it?
It,
Yeah.
it was. But they redid that Flash of Two Earths like
with
cover
but with
with
Colonel
the Colonel
Sanders.
Sanders, and they had an evil Colonel Sanders.
See, I'm gonna have to read it now.
Yeah, now you're gonna have to read it. I'm sorry.
Um,
Anyway, go ahead. What's your fourth?
um, fourth is Batman. You know,
Understandable.
it's
He's,
Batman.
by virtue of being Batman, he gets the list.
Yeah, by virtue of being Batman, he makes my number four.
Yeah.
And then number five is Hal Jordan.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Hellboy.
He, I have him written down.
Do you have a list?
I have a
Do you
list.
have a written list? I
I
love
have
it.
a written list. I have him written down as number six.
Ooh.
Um,
Narrowly edged out by Hal Jordan. Tell me why.
edged out by Hal Jordan because of mainly Jeff Johns' run with Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Um, the New 52 Green Lantern Corps, and then Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps Rebirth.
Mm. Yeah, that'll do it.
Because like it expanded on the character. It's really Hal Jordan slash the Green Lanterns.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, if you put Hal Jordan, like, himself up against, like, a Kyle Rayner, like, people usually go for Kyle Rayner over Hal Jordan.
I mean, I wouldn't.
Just for the creative way he uses his constructs.
Yeah, but like out of so
But Hal Jordan is, like, he is, like, the best of the Green Lanterns. Like,
because like it was in Green Lantern Rebirth where Hal Jordan comes back to life, where they like described their rings.
mm-hmm,
It was like John Stewart's ring, you can see the bolts and everything, and it's built from the inside out.
mm-hmm,
Kyle Rayner's ring constructs things and then refines it like an artist as it goes along because he was a graphic artist. Guy Gardner's ring is the only ring that like sparks from
sorry.
what
Thought I heard something.
oh Guy Gardner's ring is the only one that like sparks out willpower.
Mm-hmm.
Um Kilowog's is the only Green Lantern ring that makes a sound, which is terrifying because I thought they all made that
Mm-hmm.
like that like the cartoon sound.
Yeah.
I thought that's but no, they're all silent. And Kilowog's is the only one that makes a boom.
That bums me out.
Yeah.
I was sort of like,
And then how Jordan's ring is the most precise one that's ever been made.
yeah.
That is like he's been possessed by the fear entity Parallax. Became a huge threat to the universe and then helped reboot the universe in Convergence.
Yeah.
Um, he held the Yellow Lantern ring for a little bit. I think he's held all major rings.
He has.
Because there was a comic where he was both a blue and a Green Lantern at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, throughout content, we're talking like just in general, there is a story of Hal Jordan holding every ring at one point or another.
And then I think it wasn't Blackest Night. it was another. I think it was another Green Lantern run where he held the Black Lantern ring.
Yeah, it wasn't Blackest Night, but yeah.
It was like after that, like he jumped like to save the universe. He jumped off a cliff to kill himself to have the Green Lantern, the Black Lantern ring.
Hal Jordan's fucking crazy, man. I'll tell you.
Um, and then what really solidified it was Dark Side Green Lantern Dark Side War, the God of Light,
Yeah.
where he became this god, took the fucking parademons away from Oa or Mogo, I think it was at the time, to like free the Green Lanterns from Darkseid's influence or whatever. And then he was like, "All right, cool, did my job. Hey, Mother Box, like, kill yourself. I don't want to be the God of Light anymore." And he was the only one to do that out of the entire Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
He was
That
like,
tracks.
"Yeah, I don't need this God power. I have all the power I need with the Green Lantern Corps."
That's it. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
How do you feel about Sinestro being a Green Lantern again?
is he a Green Lantern again?
After the events of Death Metal, yeah.
I knew Hal gave him a Green Lantern ring. I didn't know that he kept it.
I think he kept it.
Hmm. I mean, because
I
in
could
the
be
new
wrong,
50,
but I'm pretty sure he kept it.
because in the new 52 run for Green Lantern, he was back to being a Green Lantern.
At the beginning, yeah.
Yeah, and then he gave Hal Jordan like a shadow ring of his,
Yeah. And then he
which like
showed him how he could do it better.
yeah,
Yeah.
there was like a stealth mode for
he,
for the suit that they had.
oh, he fucking dropped him so many times when he was flying.
That was hilarious.
he fucking, he's like,
Um,
ring goes on, ring goes off.
and like for top five villains, Sinestro is in my top
Ooh,
five.
top five villains is like, I think, a more interesting question. I
Um,
have a much harder time.
I got you right now. Number one, for me is
Uh
it's
huh. I got
I
you
have
right
it,
now.
I have it in my head, but it's a toss up between Bane and Joker.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that. Is it because of like the Bane, City of Bane thing?
Yeah, but it was also Bane was the first villain to find out Bruce and Batman were the same person.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I think some
In
people
Nightfall,
forget that. Yeah, Nightfall. Bane was a huge threat.
yeah. I think a lot of like, and again, it comes down to like writers. Depending on who writes a character, like that character becomes infinitely more or less interesting.
Yeah, so from like the cumulative knowledge I have of the characters, number one is like a draw between the Joker and Bane.
Yeah.
Like I can't make that decision. Number two is the Batman Who Laughs. Number three, I'll put Sinestro at number three because I really like Sinestro as a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Number four would be Eobarthon, the Reverse Flash. Um, and number five, that's a tough one because I don't think any of the other villains like compare
Come
to
to
the
that
other
level.
four to their hero. Like
Sure.
Wonder Woman, like I know Wonder Woman has like her own rogues gallery with Cheetah, Cersei, and a few other ones, but like they're not as much a threat to Wonder Woman than these characters are to the Flash, Batman, or Green Lantern. Like, I don't put Lex Luthor up there because he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, even though like with
He
death metal and everything
he
in just
has
in the
evil
Just League,
machinations,
yeah, it's
but
like
beyond that,
it's not.
like the only reason he's able to execute on these things is like happenstance kind of.
Yeah, and it's never it's not for the good reasons of being evil either. He just doesn't like Superman.
I think I would disagree at this point. I think Lex Luthor has evolved into a character that goes beyond disliking Superman.
I mean,
Like if we were talking about this like subject like I don't know 8 years ago, I'd be like right there with you. But
yeah,
it's
but
changed now.
it's definitely changed with the new 52 and then the current Lex Luthor who's become more of a cosmic threat.
Yeah, and even now
Um
he's not a villain really anymore.
right now they haven't used him yet after
Yeah.
Death Metal.
Well, I mean they have. You haven't read the all the Infinite Frontier
No.
files, have you? There's one on um, John Jones where they show Lex Luthor as part of this new team dealing with like multiversal
Oh, with
shit.
Vandal Savage, Talia al Ghul,
Yeah,
and then the original Green Lantern
Mr.
and like
Terrific.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I know he's part of that team.
I think
But
I have a couple in my head now.
but for me, Lex Luthor doesn't get to top five, and like he's more of a top 20 list
Yeah,
at like number 14 or 15.
not even top 10. Damn.
No, not even top 10. Um, but for number five, I again, it's another toss up between Bizarro, like the original Bizarro,
Sure.
and not Red Hood's Bizarro. And I want to say Mr. Mixel.
Ooh. Again, not I. I have a hard time with Mr. McThePliply because in my mind he's not even really a villain. You know?
I mean, to me, he's a villain only because um of the threat he posed to Superman in Rebirth.
Yeah, he's kind of like a villain by happenstance,
Um, okay, so instead of you're right.
right? Like it's kind of like I mean I can see it. If we categorize him as a villain, then absolutely I can see him being in your top five.
Um, oh, I'm gonna scratch the number five,
Mm.
and I'm just gonna put Darth Vader in there.
All right.
Yeah, because the Darth Vader comics that's come out from Marvel have been absolutely stellar.
I hear you. I've heard they're really good. So
The comics show if you want another comic to read that's not part of the Marvel universe, DC universe, read Darth Vader.
technically part of the Marvel universe.
I mean, technically, but he's not fighting Spider-Man.
He could. They
He
have
would mop,
they they have the power now.
he would mop the floor with any hero.
Yeah.
Darth Vader is my number five for villains.
All right. Yeah. I'm also in the situation where I'm kind of a toss up for the number one, where it's between Joker and someone else. Like like I'm kind of between Joker and maybe like Zoom or
Zoom,
yeah, because again Wally West.
because he was Wally West's Reverse
Yeah,
Flash.
yeah. So for me, like
Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, and his backstory as like a character, I do see Eobard Thawne, and I think I'll just say Reverse Flash shiz in general,
Hmm.
just because I think they could both make the top five list for me, and
Yeah.
I don't think they each deserve one slot.
Yeah, like Reverse Flash and then
Yeah,
Reverse Flash.
yeah, exactly. Given the recent Joker shit from Joker War, I'll stick Joker at one.
Nice.
I think that shit was crazy. I kind
The Three Joker story was also pretty insane.
yeah. And again, if we weren't like categorizing villains specifically, I would have said like uh so it's gonna be Joker, Reverse Flashes, Hush.
Really?
Yeah, I really liked Hush.
Why?
Because it's this interesting thing where you don't really usually see many characters from Bruce Wayne's childhood. And
Mm,
Hush was a character that came out and just fucked with him on a psychological level, right? And then on like a real like level, you know what I mean? Like he fucking dressed up like as Jason Todd. He pretended to be Jason Todd. Like after
fuck
Jason
with
Todd was dead
Bruce.
to fuck with Bruce. So it's like that's so fucking crazy. You know?
Didn't he also put he put Catwoman on a heart bypass, right?
Yes. Like he did a lot. And
Batman had to go chasing for a heart.
yeah, we often like just overlook it, right? But Hush is like a crazy villain. He came back in like a recent Batman issue and he was no big deal because of course he was no big deal. But um yeah, his
The dark multiverse is Hush.
yeah, that was cool. I think that was a really cool introduction. I think Deathstroke is in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the Teen Titans, right?
For the Teen Titans of it all, and also just because Deathstroke, I think, is kind of he's more of an anti-hero in a lot of ways than a pure villain.
Like
You know,
he had a New 52 run too, right?
he had a Rebirth run too,
Oh shit.
where he formed his kind of Dark Titans or something. He formed his own
Shit.
Titans team with all like his kids and stuff, and
With the Ravager, Jericho.
yeah. And I thought that was really like I just thought it was a dope, you know, run of it.
He was also a hero in Deceased.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think Deceased made like so many of these heroes so cool. You know, like some of these villains so much more interesting.
Cause like who was he with? He was with it was him,
All the immortal here, all the immortal villains. Like Grundy
but
was there.
like, him, Grundy, Bane, Cheetah,
Creature.
and then
Is that his name? I can't remember.
wasn't there one more villain?
There was Mirror Master, but he died really quickly. Vandal Savage?
No, I'm thinking about when they got to the school.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, not them. Mirror Master was there at the beginning.
And then he died.
Then he
and then
died.
he killed them.
It wasn't. It was Bane was there too.
Yeah, and like they all like turned into good guys for the and Shiva, Lady Shiva.
Yeah. Because later on, yeah,
Yeah, and then they all ended up being like heroes to the kids.
yeah.
Where like I think at the end of the comic they had like statues made for them. We are lobsters.
And then for number 5, Injustice Superman.
Wow, I completely forgot about that Superman.
Boom. Actually, fuck it. Move them down. Injustice Superman number 3.
Injustice Superman is a good one.
Yeah.
Because
It's so interesting to watch a hero fall so hard and become
for the right reasons, though.
Yeah, but that's the best villain. The best villain is a hero who is doing things for the right reasons, but doing the wrong things.
Didn't he took Atlantis up, right?
Yeah, he picked up Atlantis and put it in the desert. And he said, "You're not gonna fuck with me, Aquaman." And Aquaman was like, "Okay, fine. I'm not gonna fuck with you." And then they put it back in the water. That's how fucking crazy Injustice Superman is.
You know what? I'm gonna loop him into my number 2 with Superman.
There you go.
because Superman is all iterations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he killed Lois and their kid.
Yeah. I'll even say this: I think Injustice Batman over regular Batman. I love the iteration of that character because it's more. It's the most Batman of Batmans. Again, it's a Tom Taylor writing characters really well.
Mhm.
Like he writes character. He can somehow, I don't know how he does it. He taps into the core of the essence of these characters, and even when he changes them, they're still them.
Yeah, because like, and then this Batman goes through even more shit
Yeah.
because uh Damien kills Dick.
Yeah.
Like inadvertently, but he still killed him.
Yeah. I
And then
I really want us to go through Injustice at some point. Like,
and then it was just that panel where Batman's screaming, and then literally everyone stops fighting.
yeah.
The villains stop doing with what they're doing. Superman stops being evil for a second, and everyone's like, "We better shut the fuck up now before Batman kills us."
You know what? Fuck it. Dick Grayson #5. I've turned around. I'm back. I'm back. Dick
He also
Grayson
Dick
being
Grayson becomes Dead Man in that universe, right?
yeah. Oh. And Dick Grayson like he like leads Damien like down like back to like kind of a redemption story. He's like, I don't blame
Yeah,
you.
to the Nightwing suit.
Yeah. Fuck.
Dude, Superman has Alfred killed.
I know. And then he pretends he didn't.
Until
And everyone, here's the thing: if everyone knew Superman had Alfred killed, shit would have turned. That's how important Alfred is. It's
um
insane.
and then the most heartbreaking thing Superman did was kill Billy Batson.
Like through his head in the game, yeah.
Just covering his mouth and just eye beaming him through.
I think I told you, like I replayed the game and like, oh my god, like there's a lot of filler. They could cut a lot out, but it's the writing is still so good. Like the
Mm-hmm.
essence of what is there for the game. The comic is, I'll just say it, infinitely better than the game.
Yeah, no, Injustice years 1 through 5 are
Yeah,
amazing. And then even the Injustice 2 comic
yeah,
is pretty damn good.
yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's not as there just because there's not as much to work with.
Yeah,
You know, I think if we were to get an Injustice 3, like, and we got like a prequel like comic, like a lead up,
that would be great.
I'd be in heaven. I
Now,
I love that universe so much. And it's again it's fucking Tom Taylor. I'll read anything that he writes now. He's got me.
yeah,
That son of a bitch.
it, for me it's Tom Taylor, Scott Snyder,
Yeah.
Jeff Johns, Mike Mignola because of his Hellboy work, and then he also did a few Batman works too. Um,
Yeah. It's Jeff
um
Johns fucking writing is great.
there's one more, Neil Gaiman. That's the other author
Yeah.
that I will read any of their works.
I'm kind of partial to Tinian too.
Mm,
His writing on Batman, like this like Batman run,
his new run, yeah.
is really good. He's edging his way closer and closer to being on that list of I'll read whatever you try to write.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, I want to see where he like leads this Batman too.
yeah, I kind of want to see how he tees it up for whoever's next.
Yeah,
Because
because
that's what kind of defines like the run. It's like how well did you set it up
for the next
for the
person.
next person? Like it was great for you, but if you wrote a bunch of random shit that like goes against continuity, even if it's good, like
It's gonna
it's
be hell for the next person.
yeah. So like there are like really cool things that happen in writing. It's why DCU that like with like Jim Gordon being like in the Batman like suit and stuff like that, and like
Yeah,
all this like ignore continuity stuff didn't work. That's why it didn't increase sales.
yeah, because it didn't uh coast off of where the last person
Yeah,
left it.
yeah, it's because people want to know what happens next.
Yeah, and they
Like,
don't want something like, hey, don't worry about what happens next. Look at this.
yeah, it's like we don't have to reconfigure our universe again.
Yeah,
Like,
no, we don't.
yeah, nah. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of like if there's any other villain. Like villains is like a really good one. Like a good like tier list to have.
Um,
I love the Flash's rogues.
mhm.
Like I think as a team, they are just really interesting. Um, because of like their whole like we don't kill, like this is our city. They have like an ownership over like Central City, like
Yeah, and
beyond
like
like
they have their
terrorizing it.
code.
Yeah. Um, by the same virtue, I think Godspeed was a really good introduction
Hmm.
into the Flash during Rebirth. I think like if they had done more with him before killing him off,
He would have been a bigger character.
yeah, you should. I'll say this: you should finish the Flash run. You should
The
finish,
rebirth.
yeah, because
Yeah, I'll probably read that this week while I'm at work.
especially if the Reverse Flash is one of your favorite characters, like favorite villains, like
Hmm.
you're gonna love
Yeah,
it.
because
Just get through the speed, like the multiple forces stuff. Get through all like the Doom War stuff,
mhm.
and like you'll be back in like the zone where it's the stuff that you want from a Flash story.
All right, yeah, because it was the whole still force, strength
It
force.
got a little too heady.
Yeah, and like it was
I
just
agree.
a lot.
Like especially after like reading the Flash War storyline.
Hmm.
Like right after that, like it's like fucking Wally West is gone, and now
It's like, dude, people, relax, relax.
let's
You threw a
just
lot at me.
yeah. And
It,
everyone's throwing a lot at you at that time because everyone's setting up for like the sky to turn green.
yeah.
It was so funny going back and catching up on runs this past month because I'm catching up on runs and it's like, oh, the sky's turning green again. Oh, the sky's turning green again. Oh, because everyone in DC had a tie-in for the fucking Doom War
Do
thing.
more.
Like it's like, my God, it sucks everywhere,
Relax,
guys.
people.
Not everyone was outside.
Some people stayed inside
Yeah,
and played video games.
it's like if the fucking like if I read Green Lantern and like all of a sudden it's like the sky is green in Oa, it's like the
To
fuck are you
people,
talking about?
what are we doing here? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Um,
You want to play the
I
game?
think I think that's why a lot of my like favorite single issues are like not slice of life
Mhm.
moments, but yeah, slice of life where it's like they're not fighting these super threats and like they're not relaxing, but they're just like it's a calm night or day or whatever.
Sure, the Batman Superman double date.
Yeah, like
That's a
that one,
great comic. That's a
fucking amazing.
beautiful like little. Ooh, we like that.
Or
Look,
like any of the issues
it's
with
fun.
Batman where Batman has a relaxing night and you just see him just like patrolling or whatever.
Batman taking care of Alfred.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, you're sick. Let me bring you your soup and shit.
Yeah. I read the 1,000 issue anniversary for like issue 1027 for
Hmm.
Detective Comics. It's like this great collection of Batman stories like written just for this issue. It's the issue is 180 pages. Insane.
Damn.
But they have one where all the Bat family shows up to a single crime scene by coincidence. Like they all just end up like finding this body on a roof. Like they all show up there. happenstance. And then Batman's like, okay, let's solve the crime. Like, and they do it like together, and he's like, "You're all great detectives." After it, and like then he flies away.
Oh yeah. And the first one of the scene is Robin, then Nightwing.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now. And they're all like, "All right, this is a trap,
yeah.
right? This is a trap, right, guys?"
I and then Tim Drake says it's Killer Croc. I can smell it. And then it turns out to be Killer Croc later on. It was just and like everyone's looking down on them from like nearby roof like apartment buildings.
hmm
Like cuz it's the entire Bat family. It's literally all of them. Like apart from like Cassandra Cain, you know?
I like those little moments where it's like,
Yeah.
all right, like I think it was in the New 52 run with Damian going into the sewers
Mhm.
to find Martha Wayne's pearls from the necklace Jojo broke. And
Yeah.
he was like, yeah, this is kind of why I've been going off alone. You're yelling at me for doing something nice. And Batman just was like, I'm sorry. Thank you. I love you.
Yeah. I it was a recent issue, but it's like Batman says, "Damien, you're my son, and I love you, but sometimes I hate you." Like it's like that's beautiful. Just to hear Batman say, "You're my son, and I love you," and it was like, okay, we're good. Whatever else he says next is like whatever.
Sometimes I fucking hate
Yeah.
you.
Sometimes I hate you because Damien's being a little butt. Uh,
Um, yeah,
fuck.
Batman interacting with his children is i- among one of my favorite. Like when they're together in the comics,
Yeah.
it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like even when they were in like the bar after Alfred's funeral thing,
mm,
I was still like, this is nice. Everyone's here.
like
Like,
it's gonna get really depressing, but
yeah.
this is a favorite issue of
I'm
mine.
sure I might tear up, but like, fuck it. It's great.
Fucking Rick Grayson, fucking is like, yeah, all these people talking about Alfred. Sure, he was a nice guy. I don't care. You're here in a bar alone. Goodbye. Like,
Yeah.
oh, my heart.
A lot of people hate the Rick Grayson stuff, but for me, it's what got me back into like reading Nightwing because I was like, oh, it's different.
Yeah,
It's jarring, but it's different.
it was jarring, but for me in a good way.
Yeah.
Because like it was like a Dick Grayson who didn't care about anything
Yeah.
besides himself, which is like very not Dick Grayson.
But he still wanted to do the right thing. Like it was Dick Grayson at its like core of who he is.
Yeah,
He's
which is
someone
a
who
good
wants to
person.
help people, but he doesn't necessarily want to be a superhero.
Yeah.
Like, man, and like if Dick Grayson loses his memories is what it took for us to get such a great fucking Nightwing run, which
I'm glad we got it.
I am dying not reading the new issues. I'm dying. I'm gonna die waiting this month until I can get my hands on it. I'm gonna keep trying to hunt it down.
For the
And,
physical issues.
yeah, in other places because I need to get like 81 before I can even read 82. 82 is gonna come out, and I'm still gonna be looking for 81. Like Dick Grayson fucking buys a bunch of homeless people pizza.
Yeah.
Like, because he's like, oh wait, shit, I'm a billionaire. You want a pizza and
Everybody,
like a place to
here,
stay?
take some pizza.
Like, it's like fuck.
There was also a really cool moment in that one where he gets pickpocketed
Yeah, and then
but
they all
for his
meme on
wallet.
him.
And then everybody in the Bat Family group chat
It's so good.
just starts shitting on him.
Yeah, he brought Batman sent Tim Drake with a wallet with a chain.
Which, like,
It's like
they have
it's a rare humor that you see from Batman.
and like, not only that, that means he's part of the group chat.
Yeah.
And like, there's a group chat with all of them.
Yeah, I that's why I've been loving like recent like Bat Family stuff because it's like I don't know. It just feels it's a little bit less heavy
Mm-hmm.
than it has been in recent. It's been really fucking heavy in recent years. The stories have been good, but like
But heavy.
I need a break. I I
Give,
I
give me
can't
some
deal
lighthearted
I can't
shit.
deal with Batman dealing with heartbreak like for like 10 issues and then like Alfred dying and then fucking like
Dude,
Batman almost getting his entire like city destroyed, losing everything. Like I can't deal with all that and then you give me more heavy shit. Thank you for not doing that.
Batman went from getting married to being left at the altar to
To being on a
then
beach.
having to beat the shit out of his father,
Yeah.
being abandoned by his father in the middle of a desert, um, fighting his way back to only have Alfred die,
Yeah.
then the Joker War.
Joker War was good. His
Um,
his like also like one of his son gets shot in the head.
yeah, yeah.
Like right before all this. And he goes through all this without Dick Grayson. It's like fuck.
In Detective Comics, didn't like I know he didn't die, but didn't like Tim Drake die in front of them all?
Yeah, early on. Like in like issue, I don't know, 7. Tim Drake like
Um,
looks like he exploded. Thank God Mr. Oz saved him.
yeah, but it's like Batman. Batman is the DC Spider-Man when it comes to shit being shoveled onto him.
And the worst part is when shit happens to Batman, it's usually his fault and no one like lets him forget that it's his fault.
It's like it's your fault, and we're gonna remind you every time you
His
start to even tear up about it.
his family like has given zero fucks about his like well, I mean they care. Like he's like, "Hey, if you need help, like just tell me now, but I know you won't." But cuz you're an asshole. And it's like, "What the fuck? Why would you phrase it like that?" Like, Tim, what are you doing? He's like, "I can be your Robin again for now if you need me. But you have to tell me you need me cuz I'm not doing this shit again."
And I know you're not.
And I know you're not. So fuck you. And then he leaves. Like
Yeah,
it's
no,
it's wild.
like I don't think like this is like taking like a very bird's eye view of the character. I don't think any of the Bat family have put themselves in Bruce's shoes when it comes to most of the shit.
I think if Dick Grayson had been Dick Grayson at the time, everything would have been fine. I think Batman stories. I think what happened is Batman stories started getting darker once Dick Grayson was shot.
Yeah.
Like if I'm when I'm really thinking about it, like that's when it took like the turn where Batman goes and like almost murders KG Beast,
Yep.
right?
Right, like he hunts them into Russia.
Like, and you have like essentially from the moment Dick Grayson is shot trying to tell that joke to the moment he finishes telling the joke in Nightwing when he has memory back fighting KG Beast
Mm-hmm.
again, which is I thought it was a great moment. Like he like finishes his like little quip that he was telling on the rooftop before he gets his brains blown out. Um, like from that moment to that moment is when Batman has the darkest storylines. Because
Yeah.
Dick Grayson only like becomes Dick Grayson again, like in the middle of Joker War, and after Joker War, Batman like gets brighter again.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Because
you could
the
see it in
Grayson
the
is back.
you could see it in the art, like even
Yeah, and like still though, like with which like I really hope they keep Alfred dead.
I hope they keep Alfred dead for at least 5 years. After
Um
that, I'm open to whatever because that's how comics are.
yeah, like
I hope it's a lasting change in terms of how lasting changes are in comics.
I hope from like what from when Alfred died. I actually hope that he doesn't come back.
Yeah,
Like
I
it's
do
fine if
too, but I know that he probably will.
with like some another crisis or whatever, and it gets rebooted up again.
Yeah.
like into something called DC Next or some
I
bullshit.
I'll say this: I don't think that they're gonna do like another like hard reboot Crisis
Um,
because they've made it now, so you can write any story and say this is just another Earth because there are infinite Earths now.
like I don't see them doing a whole other crisis, but I do see them dropping Earth 1, 0, whichever Earth this is,
Yeah,
and picking up like at a different Earth.
sure, I could absolutely see that. I could see like Earths like coming together, like a couple Earths like melding. I just don't see them doing like a full sale like reboot of the DC universe anytime soon. I think whereas before we were like 5 years away from each crisis, now we're probably like 10,
10.
maybe 20,
All right, cool. So we'll have this episode again in 10 years
or in
with
5, and I'll be wrong.
um
And then it'll be Earth 3, but spelled with the threes, the e's as threes.
oh god.
That's how we'll differentiate it from the third one.
But I don't think the characters put themselves in Batman's shoes enough.
No, they don't.
Because if they did, they'd realize he is like and I think either Tim Drake has said it or Damien has said it,
Mm-hmm.
where he's still very much the boy in the alleyway still.
Everyone said that. That you have no idea how little that narrows it down.
I mean, but like, yeah,
Like,
they've said it, but they don't, but they can't contextualize it.
yeah, I think the thing is, we have to remember though, Bruce Wayne's an asshole.
Yes,
Like, I don't want us to come off as overly sympathetic to Batman, just because it's like realistically,
he's an asshole.
like Batman does create his own problems.
Oh,
Everything that anyone said about him at that like bar was
true,
very
100% true.
incredibly true, which is why it was so fucking cutting. It's why it was so uncomfortable to read. Because you look at like Batman, you're like, he's like, he doesn't like fight back because he can't like, what's he gonna say?
There's no rebuking
They
what
got
they've
him.
said. Um, but like I don't know. Me personally, I feel like yes, Batman is an asshole,
Mm-hmm.
but
He's our asshole.
there's a lot of trauma behind being that asshole.
Sure, sure. There's like there's 40, 50 years of trauma for him,
um,
depending on how old Batman is. How old do you think Batman is right now? I'm gonna say 50.
like in comic.
In comic, I'm gonna say he's like early 40s, or 40 to 50. He's between 40 and 50.
See,
I
I
think
would
to
say
make continuity make sense, he has to be at least 40.
I would say pre Endgame, you'd be right.
Mm-hmm.
But then he got because they had it in like issue
Oh,
52
when he
of
comes
Batman
back,
when he comes back.
sure.
So and like they said that he has no physical scarring, no nothing from like his years of he is like back
Yeah,
as like kind of like in the body of year one Batman.
but like canonically, from like what year was he born? You know what I mean?
Yeah, canonically I would put him at like mid 40s,
That's where I would put him.
mid to late 40s.
That makes the
But like
most sense.
physically age wise,
Yeah,
I would put him at mid 30s.
yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Like I would say like his body like at age is maybe 33, 34.
Yeah.
Like if you were to like spinal tap him, that bitch would say 33, 34.
If you were to do a cesium test on Batman, really, really figure out if he's older than the nukes, then we really.
Because like how old is Dick Grayson?
I
He has to be in his late 20s.
I think Dick Grayson's like 30 something.
I would say comic wise he's in his like
He's his very
late,
late 20s, early
like
30s.
28, 29.
Yeah, like because you have to contextualize it because there's everyone else,
Yeah, I would put him at 28,
right?
29.
And we
Jason
know that like Dick Grayson is like 10 years older than Tim Drake, and probably like 5 years older than Jason Todd. And Tim Drake is like college age now.
is a Jason Todd I'd put at 25,
Yeah, sure.
24, 25. Tim
Yeah,
Drake I'd put at 19, 20.
yeah.
And then Damien is
Like
14.
yeah, 13, 14. Yeah. It's always hard to nail down Barbara Gordon, especially now.
Barbara
I don't know what happened.
Barbara Gordon I would put at around the same age as Dick.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, but like now it does more. But you looked at like the earlier Batgirl runs,
Oh,
like
she
the
was like younger.
she looked like so much younger, and I'm like, okay, so this is like what? Like
Like
I have a hard time placing her. They're
I
redoing her
would
costume though. Did you hear about that?
no.
Yeah, yeah. And like the newest issue of Batman, there's gonna be a new Batgirl costume.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Tom Taylor tweeted about it because I follow Tom
That's
Taylor on Tom Twitter.
that's something to look forward to. Holy shit! Because I
Yeah,
remember with Batgirl, they had a run with her where she just looked like she was a teenager again.
yeah. That was like the that
Was that the
that
rebirth?
was a rebirth run. That's this run. Like so I'm like kind of confused. I'm always a little confused. I think what they should have done is taken her White Knight costume. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like
hmm
White Knight costume, and
Like
just done that.
militarized.
Yeah, kind of like militarized, like but like very like she has like the belt. It's gold and black with a blue cape.
hmm
Like I think that like is the best Batgirl costume that they've had in a while. I prefer Batgirl as or I prefer Barbara Gordon as Oracle though. In general, you know,
Yeah, I
like
mean,
I I I,
I could go either way.
I like it when she does Batgirl stuff, but like I prefer her as Oracle because like that's the majority of like
That's who she was
yeah
for a lot of the 2000s run
yeah. I
of
mean,
everything.
as soon as they made the Killing Joke canon, which it's weird to think that the Killing Joke was ever not canon because it feels like it's so intrinsic.
Ingrained in Batman.
Yeah, like it comes up a lot.
Yeah, and like it came up a lot with the Three Joker story arc
Yeah, because one of those
with
Jokers is the
with that Joker
yeah.
being the Joker that we have.
I mean, that story's so fucking dark though.
The
That's
Killing Joke or the Three Jokers?
the Killing Joke. Three Jokers is like you know, but the Killing Joke is so dark. It's like hard to like think of it as like with main. I mean, I guess DC's gotten very dark at some points. Like
Yeah, and that
Identity
was also with
Crisis is very dark. Like
but like Mark who wrote that? Mark Miller?
what was it? Mark Miller? Which one?
Um
Killing Joke?
Killing Joke.
Fuck, I can't believe I don't know that off the top of my head. We should also probably end soon because we're coming up on 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Alan Moore, Swamp Thing. That's who
Yeah,
wrote it. All of his shit is dark and I love it. Um
but I love that they like were like, hey, um we have a backstory for the Joker,
mhm.
and the fact that in the Three Jokers, Batman was like, I know who Joker was all along. Like I found out his name like with
I knew his name from
the
the
first
beginning.
week we met. Like it's like holy shit.
Yeah, that was fucked. And then
Yeah,
you realize that that family is still there.
yeah. The fact that Batman took the Joker's family and put him in
Fucking
WITSEC.
It wasn't Batman who put them in. It was
Yeah.
the GCPD.
Well, yeah, but
And Batman's been covering up for them.
yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, of course, it's the GCPD that actually put them in WITSEC, but like,
But yeah, Batman
you know what I
has them
mean.
under his yeah.
Yeah, it's the umbrella.
Um, fuck it. I love Batman's line to Alfred in that one where he's like, yeah, you know, I don't like to say it because sometimes it's not true, but I am the Batman. I do know almost everything.
Yeah,
I've known who the Joker was the first week I met him.
it's so
It's
good.
like that's fucked.
It's a great reveal.
And then the two other Jokers were kind of fucked too.
Yeah, I mean they're dead.
They are very much dead.
The Three
And
Jokers is
for
great.
for a second with that comic when I thought that they were gonna have Jason Todd be a new Joker.
Oh, I couldn't see that. They've already like they've already posited that kind of thing like multiple times. They did like the Tim Drake as the Joker in Batman Beyond movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like
But like that
it's
one, it
too
almost
easy.
solidified it for me though.
Like Joker's whole thing with Jason Todd is like you're my Robin, kind of like it's
Yeah,
always
but
been that
like
way.
the way they wrote it though, I thought Jason Todd would have been the next Joker.
Yeah, I need to watch the Death in the Family animated thing that they put out like a year ago.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
If you're gonna do it, you have to buy a physical copy
Why?
because the new Death in the Family one is like a choose your own adventure
And
kind
they
of
don't
thing
do it on like the streaming
on the
stuff.
digital. Nope.
What the fuck?
If you buy it digitally, it's just the straight movie. Yeah, it's the original one that came
Because
out in like 2009, 2010.
that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to do like the.
Yeah, you have to get the physical copy.
That sucks. It sucks that DC Universe got shut down. Like I mean, it all got rolled into HBO Max, which I mean,
Hmm.
I'm fine with. I have HBO, so like I'm like great.
Yeah, but nope, I
But
learned that lesson the hard way.
yeah, well, I'm glad you did it. I wasn't gonna buy it anyway, so
Yeah,
it would have just been me watching Under the Red Hood, which is not a bad night.
yeah, it's not. But I think now's a good time to end the podcast.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well, you guys got lucky this week. You got almost 3 hours of podcast. We'll be back next week with a new topic, a new comic story.
Yeah,
Yeah, and with our polls, we're gonna be talking about our polls every week now.
yeah, that's gonna
Because
be the introduction to the episode
yeah,
every week.
so in the comments below on the YouTube video, I want to hear what your top 5 heroes and villains are, and what you're reading this week. All
Yeah,
right.
thank you for watching.
Yeah. Peace.
Bye bye.